After dropping 3 of their first 4 games to open up the season, including 2 of 3 at home, the Mariners are back on the road to try and right the ship and correct their offensive woes against the Falmouth Commodores. Good evening, folks, and welcome into Gov Fuller Field here in beautiful Falmouth, Massachusetts. I'm Tim Foley alongside my broadcast partner Tyler Henry. We'll be with you for Game 5 of the Harwich Mariners 2021 season. Now, Tyler, it is a known occurrence that when a summer ball team gets together, it might take some time to gel and get the ball rolling in certain aspects of their game. And you could certainly say that this is applied when you take a look at the Mariners' offense so far through the season.
Yeah, I think that has definitely been the case, at least as far as the offensive play on the field. The team is gelling in the dugout a lot faster than what you would expect for most summer ball teams. But yes, in terms of the offensive production, something that they're still trying to work on. But, as we mentioned a little bit in our pregame stand-up, we're going to have a couple of new pieces starting to come in over these next couple of weeks. College World Series is ending. Teams that have already been eliminated, those guys are going to start showing up. And as those pieces get inserted, not only do you add more talent, but you also add some more cohesiveness with teammates, and we'll see how that plays out throughout the season.
And we'll give you a preview as to who those guys are once the game gets rolling. Moving forward, however, so despite the slow start on offense, there has been a bright spot for the team so far this season, and that's been the pitching. Second in the league in strikeouts, along with the second best ERA across all 10 teams. How would you describe the way that this Mariners team has looked on the mound this season?
Yeah, they've looked dominant, but again, it's been aggressiveness that's really helped them out. Getting ahead in counts early on, starting off with that 0-2, 1-2 count on the batter, and then just going after him and getting what needs to be done. A lot of high strikeout numbers, as you mentioned, and man, I'm telling you, if these guys get an ounce of run support throughout the season, this is a Mariners squad that could definitely see a deep playoff run come early August.
And so this pitching staff today, they're going to be facing off against a Falmouth team that's been pretty hot at the plate to start the season, top of the league in a couple of categories, right up there, batting average, on base percentage, slugging as well. What do you think that you talked about it a little bit just then, but how do you think this Mariners pitching is going to fare against this Falmouth batting?
Yeah, again, I think early on in the season, save for maybe Bourne, it's not such a big deal. When you look at the stats, these guys are going to level out on both ends of it. But, again, this is an offense that's been rolling here early on. This is the phase of the season where teams are going to try to establish that momentum. I wouldn't say anybody, even Bourne particularly, has that kind of momentum yet, but trying to establish that early. And that's why it's so important for the M's to come back. It doesn't matter how you do it. You want to get a couple wins early on in the season, even before everybody else shows up, just to get them under your belt and, again, to have that positive momentum going forward.
All right, we'll take a look now at the Falmouth starting pitcher. It's going to be Mason Pelio, the righty out of Boston College. He's thrown 65 complete innings for the Eagles. He's given up 72 hits, 48 earned runs, 45 walks, and 54 strikeouts. They've had some all right pitching to start the season for Falmouth. We'll try to keep it going with Pelio on the mound today. Let's introduce you now to this Harwich Mariners starting lineup as the infield's still getting warmed up here. Leading off for the Mariners tonight, it's going to be the second baseman, Corey Acton. Then we have the center fielder, Ben Malgeri, batting second. Batting third, you have Brock Wilkin over at third. Cade Beloso, he's the designated hitter. He'll bat fourth. Carter Putz out of Notre Dame, one of the new additions to this Mariners squad. He'll be batting fifth over at first base today. His teammate, Zach Preisner, another new addition to the Mariners. He's the shortstop. He's batting in the sixth spot today. Aaron McKeithen, he's the catcher. He'll bat seventh. Press Kavanaugh, he'll bat eighth in right field. And Jake Lazaro out in left, he'll bat ninth. So we mentioned it a little bit. Putz and Preisner, I think those are going to be the guys to watch today for the Mariners as this squad looks for a little bit more life on offense.
Yeah, no, certainly. Those are the two guys to keep an eye on here. Talk about Notre Dame guys having success. I know we've thrown around that name a couple of times. Nico Cavadas, obviously the biggest standout of that 2019 season for the Harwich Mariners. And these guys are not too far behind. Obviously not on the same pace in terms of home runs, but you look at the numbers they put up this season. Carter Putz with an OPS of 861. Preisner not too far behind him at 826. So two guys that have really, really cranked it up offensively. And now those bats go from the Fighting Irish lineup to the Mariners lineup here on a Saturday afternoon, first weekend series of the season.
And now with Corey Acton stepping into the lefty batter's box, we are just about set to go here from Gov Fuller Field. Now, of course, we thank you for joining us on the Mariners YouTube network here today. First pitch in from Pelio is up high at 94. And that misses for ball one. Second pitch, another fastball, this time on the outside part of the plate missing. And Pelio finding himself behind 2-0 to open up this at-bat.
Yeah, a bit of a rough start here for Acton, but again, this could be a big confidence-boosting game for him, hitting in that one spot.
Takes a third pitch for a ball. Nice patience so far from Acton at the plate as he's trying to draw the 4-pitch walk here. Pelio on the mound. Steps in, kicks, delivers, and misses. Ball 4. 4 pitches thrown, and the first walk of the game is dealt to Corey Acton. Yep. And this will bring up Ben Malgiri.
Yep, an ideal start here for the M's, and Malgiri looking to continue that streak here for Harwich. Of course, blasted the first home run of the season for the M's last night. Gets moved all the way from the 9 spot up to the 2 hole here today.
First pitch to the new batter is in for a strike, first strike of the game. Let's take a look at the Falmouth defense. As on the mound, Mason Pelio, as we mentioned. Doing the catching for him today, Taylor Smith is behind the plate. First base is Brennan Malone. Maui Ahuna plays second. Braden Taylor plays short. As ball's fouled back to the backstop. Jake Ducart, he'll play third. Michael Curiali, he'll play out in left. Anthony Hall's in center, and Jace Borfin is in right. It's an 0-2 count here to Malgiri. Set, delivers, ball hit right through the gap on the right-hand side. Acton's going to go for second, and standing on first with a single is Ben Malgiri. First 2 on for the Mariners in the top of the first inning.
And this is what you're talking about, that cohesiveness, starting to find out which guys in the lineup hit well together, finding out which guys are hot here early, and first 2 guys aboard here for the M's. Now the question is, can they capitalize with Brock Wilkin and Cade Beloso due up next?
These are the 2 guys who have been most consistent for them all season long. Beloso and Wilkin, along with Hood, the only 3 Mariners so far this season with 3 or more hits in this lineup across the first 4 games. Wilkin, the righty out of Wake Forest, takes a first pitch on the inner part of the plate for a ball.
Yeah, about 75 on that delivery there from Pelio. Nothing too overpowering here, but again, trying to mix it up, establish that fastball early, and then work his way into the off-speed stuff.
Pelio sets and delivers. Sounded like he got a piece of that one. He did. Sent off. Count now 1-1 at 93 miles an hour on that pitch.
Yeah, and of course we've got one of the best seats in the house here. Gov Fuller Field, one of the advantages right behind the chain link in between home plate and the on-deck circle.
A 1-1 count from Pelio. He stares back at second. Pitch delivered in, 78 miles per hour, missing on the inner part of the plate. Count now 2-1.
Yeah, guys are willing to be patient with Pelio here early on, and that has certainly been to their advantage. Guys getting ahead in counts, and seemingly all 3 ABs here so far.
Pelio once again setting, staring back at second. Acton stands there. The pitch blows it by him up high at 92. Got Wilkin to chase after it. Count now 2-2.
Yeah, but we've seen Wilkin do some of his best work this season on a 2-strike count. This is where he really does knuckle down. He's going to, at the very least, go deep into a count with the pitcher.
Wilkin now facing a 2-2 count. Chases after one, down he goes swinging. And so the first out is recorded, and it is a strikeout swinging by Brock Wilkin.
Yeah, that's just a good piece of pitching there by Pelio. Knew he was going to be sitting on maybe a fastball up with a 2-2 count. Comes at him with the off-speed down in the dirt, and Wilkin can't lay off.
And now you have Cade Beloso stepping in, still leading the league in batting average coming into today. He's the designated hitter today. Got runners on first and second with 1 out here in the top of the first inning. Overcast day here, some sun shining behind us at Gov Fuller. First pitch Beloso sees, and that's fouled off well over our heads.
Well, and this is a big AB too, because if Beloso can find his way on, look at who's coming up next. In the on-deck circle and in the hole, you've got Carter Putz and Zach Preisner. the two new recruits from Notre Dame. So potentially an opportunity to see what those guys can do with the bases loaded, or maybe second and third here, depending on what Beloso can do. Just trying to find his way on, keep the inning rolling here.
The 0-1. Another pitch fouled back. Count goes to 0-2.
Of course, Harwich has had a number of these situations so far this season. They've gotten a man in scoring position with less than 2 outs. And this is where the M's have occasionally struggled at the plate so far this year.
Happened a couple times last night as well in those late innings against Bourne. Could not drive any around the bases as he fouls off the 0-2 pitch to the awaiting putts in the batter's circle.
And these are the kinds of ABs we're getting accustomed to here with Cade Beloso. Another guy that will take you deep into counts. He's very patient. He's going to wait on his pitch, but also knows what to go after, at least to foul away to keep himself alive.
I mean, just the high IQ from him and Wilkin alike at the
Oh,
plate.
boy.
And runner goes for third, getting down safe, and coming home to score is going to be Acton. And he's safe. Corey Acton came home to score, so he was on second base. He made his way over to third while the pitcher still had the ball in his hand. Falmouth had him dead to rights, but the throw over to third was botched. Ball got into the outfield. Acton acting quickly on it, runs home to score, and just like that, the Mariners on the board first here at Gov Fuller.
Yeah, an absolute breakdown that time for Mason Pelio. A good throw absolutely gets him. You're right. He stepped off the rubber, was not in the process of throwing a pitch home, and should have had Acton. Instead, he airmails it into left field, and the M's are on the board.
And alongside that, Malgiri made his way over to second. So now a runner on second with only 1 out, and another ball fouled off by Beloso.
Yeah, fantastic situation here for the M's early in this game. Again, trying to capitalize, but you like your chances. No chance for a double play ball, even if he grounds out here. Likely going to have a runner 90 feet away for Carter Putts' debut at bat.
One of the better starts the Mariners have gotten off to this season. Run on second, and Beloso goes down reaching for that one as strike 3. That is the second straight strikeout thrown by Pelio.
Yeah, and not necessarily in terms of pitches, but certainly in terms of raw time. That was a very long at-bat there, and that starts eventually to wear on the batter just a little bit. So Beloso down, but now we get our first look at Carter Putts, who will bat from the right side.
Putts playing first base today. Just came in out of Notre Dame. First pitch to the new batter, and he will take it for a called strike.
And a little bit less of a break for a guy like Putts than what we've seen for some of these guys. Again, as Coach E mentioned, some of these guys, their regular season ended in college. They had about a month off before their first game in the Cape, but more than likely, Putts and Preisner are going to be swinging a bat straight out of the College World Series playoffs.
0-1 count. Swung on and missed. It was a pitch low in the zone. Putts went after it and could not find any of it. He's down in the count, 0-2. Mariners wearing their blue tops with the gray bottoms. Commodores in their white tops and white bottoms with the black hats. 0-2 pitch. Taken, just misses the zone. 1-2 now the count.
And not a bad fastball there, and it looked like Pelio put it right on the outside part of the black, but a good eye there by Carter Putts. He holds off, and he battles his way back, count now to 1-2.
Pelio, he delivers. Ball hit on the ground right up the middle, just past the shortstop. Taylor gets into the outfield. Malgiri comes home to score, and standing on first with an RBI single is going to be Carter Putts in his first at-bat as a Mariner.
Yeah, well, welcome to the Cape Cod Baseball League, Mr. Putts. As he's able to get an RBI single, not a bad way to start your debut, and the M's on top 2-0 here in the first.
This will bring up the other member of the Fighting Irish, Zach Preisner, looking to drive his teammate Putts around the bases.
And this is where you really do kind of get that batter-to-batter chemistry, especially with guys from the same school. See how this pays off for the M's.
First pitch he sees, he ropes that over to first. Pitcher Pelio having to come over and make a play on it. He will, and that will be the final out of the half inning. But best start of the season so far for the Mariners. They put 2 up against Pelio on the mound. They lead it 2-0. After a half inning here at Gov Fuller Field, you are listening to the Harwich Mariners on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back to Gov Fuller Field here in Falmouth. Tim Foley, Tyler Henry with you. The Mariners leading 2-0 against the Commodores early in this one. Let's take a moment to introduce you to the Falmouth lineup. They line up like this. This is the second baseman, Maui Ahuna. He'll lead it off at second, of course. And then Michael Curiali, the left fielder, he bats second. Braden Taylor, the shortstop, he'll bat third. Batting cleanup, the third baseman, Jake Ducart. Jace Borfin, the right fielder, he'll bat fifth. Brennan Malone, he'll bat sixth. He's the first baseman. Anthony Hall, the center fielder, he'll bat seventh. Taylor Smith, he's the catcher, he'll bat eighth. And batting ninth is Cody Colden, the designated hitter for the Commodores. And on the mound for the Mariners, it's Timmy Manning out of Florida. Manning only made 8 appearances for the Gators this season. He did hold opponents scoreless in 5 of those appearances, but the first pitch he throws to the batter, Ahuna, is taken right up the middle, so a leadoff single for Ahuna.
Yeah, good start here for Falmouth. I would like to note, though, this is the first time that a Harwich Mariners starter has had a lead at any point during any of these games. Typically, you look at the comeback or the come-from-behind victory they had earlier this season, not able to score until a reliever had come into the game. So good to see that run support coming in here early and now trying to hold it. But Falmouth, I'm sure, would be very happy to try to take those runs back here in this half of the inning.
And Falmouth, they are a team that knows how to battle. Just last night, they had a gutsy win over Hyannis as the first pitch to Curiali in the box, taken for a ball, 1-0. Bases ended up being loaded last night for the Harbor Hawks in the bottom of the 9th, but the relief pitcher Michael Esposito was able to get out of the jam. So they've been in some tight spots. They've had to play some tough baseball as the pitch here hit over to the shortstop in Preisner, and that is a double play. Preisner picked it up at short. It was hit right to him. Acton then took it from him, made the throw over to Putz at first, and there are 2 down in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, and it's interesting, again, you mentioned Acton playing over there at second base today, Preisner getting the start at short, but those are 2 middle infielders when you're talking about Carter Putz. He's at first base today. It'll be interesting to see if he transitions there, but you're going to have 2 guys for the Fighting Irish likely on this infield at all times, regardless of where.
Now you have Braden Taylor, the shortstop. First pitch delivered to him, a strike. 0-1 the count.
Yep, and that's what it's all about, trying to get ahead of the hitter.
Second pitch, Manning going off speed. Misses outside the zone. 1-1 the count.
Yeah, Manning, one of those classic 3-pitch guys, works with a fastball, a changeup, and a slider. Pretty good velocity on that fastball, right around 91.
A 2-1 count. Taylor Smith, pardon me. As the count now is 2-1 to Braden Taylor. He'll foul one off back towards the Commodores' dugout. Count goes to 2-2.
Yep, and we'll see if he can continue to battle his way back in here. Again, for Manning, you know, the double play ball is always so helpful to your confidence as a pitcher. Now you can go back out of the windup. You don't have to worry about it, and you can focus on trying to get the batter.
2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Got him. First strikeout from Manning. and it's to end the first inning. So Commodores can't respond after the Mariners put 2 on the board. They'll look to add more. We move now to the top of the second. You are listening to the Harwich Mariners on the Mariners YouTube network. Back to baseball here in Falmouth. Aaron McKeithen, the catcher for the Mariners today out of UNC Charlotte. He steps up to bat to lead it off in the second for the Mariners. Pelio still on the mound. First pitch he throws into McKeithen, in for a strike.
Yeah, and Pelio just going to have to shake off that top half of the inning. Obviously, you know, not entirely his fault. I believe the error makes both of those runs unearned, but still pitching from behind here.
Ball roped out towards left, but foul by McKeithen, and he's behind 0-2.
Quick update from the Orleans side of things. Firebirds get a grand slam from Tyler Locklear early on in this game. This pitch is skipped here in the dirt.
Yeah, count now 1-2. There was another grand slam just the other night. Katuit, I believe, had one.
With how many runs they scored, it's hard to tell when that grand slam would have occurred. I believe they put up, what, 16, 18 last night?
Yeah, they put up a crooked number for sure. The 0-2 pitch. That one in the dirt, as it should be a 2-2 count, I believe. Scoreboard here at Gov Fuller, a bit behind.
Yeah, but just a good disciplined at bat there. McKeithen saw it the first time, laid off of it the second time.
Here's the 2-2. Up high, and the count will run full. 94 miles per hour on that last pitch, trying to get him to chase after it high.
I believe the home plate umpire actually signaling 2-2 here.
And that pitch missing up high. Count was full. McKeithen will make his way down to first. This will bring up Press Kavanaugh, right fielder today for the Mariners out of UNCG.
And back-to-back innings starting off with a walk here. Pelio putting a guy on before he has a chance to go to work. So not a great start here for him, but this is a guy that I think you and I were kind of looking at his numbers before this game, Tim, and it's a guy that it looks like Harwich can take advantage of. Again, a 6.65 ERA at Boston College. So an opportunity to maybe jump on the starter here and try to pad onto this early lead.
And you need that if you're Harwich with the way you've started this season. As first pitch into Kavanaugh, down low in the zone, in for a strike. He's behind 0-1. Kavanaugh did not play in yesterday's game against Bourne. Ball fouled back up and over.
Yeah, Prez has had pretty, I guess, limited playing time here early on in the season, trying to work his way maybe into more of an everyday spot.
He takes a swing at the 0-2 pitch and goes down. So that is out number 1 recorded here in the bottom of the second. This will bring up Jake Lazaro.
Left fielder from St. John's University, number 7, Jake Lazaro.
Lazaro out of St. John's, of course. He's got a man on first still in Aaron McKeithen after he drew the leadoff walk. First pitch dealt to the batter Lazaro, misses outside, 1-0.
Yep, and again, just trying to find a way to capitalize here, getting the early man on, find a way to bring him around and bring him in here. That's been the issue for Harwich. Doing a really good job this season again at getting that leadoff man aboard. It's just been moving him that's been the difficulty.
Second pitch misses outside. Pelio again opting to throw on the outer portion of the plate. Does have 2 walks already. He's behind in the count, 2-0.
Yeah, this is another part of the Cape League season. It really depends on who you're talking about, but sometimes these guys not as apt to trust their defense with guys they don't know.
As 2-0 pitch in for a called strike, 2-1.
And so because of that, you'll see some of these guys really try to hammer home the strikeout pitch. You also have all the scouts here. That plays into it a little bit as well. But you see pitching Jake Lazaro a little bit more cautiously. See if he comes back in with a 2-1 count. Maybe tries to challenge him with a fastball here.
The 2-1. Fouled off. Lands just behind the umpire. Count now runs to 2-2.
Yep, and there it is, that fastball up. So now he's got him where he wants him. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Lazaro going to have to be careful here. So far, 3 Ks on the day already for Mason Pelio.
Waiting on deck for the Mariners, the leadoff man, Corey Acton. The 2-2 pitch, outside part of the plate. Count now full.
Yeah, and again, it really depends on the situation here. He's got a couple of options, but Jake Lazaro needs to watch out for the off-speed low here. That's been the strikeout pitch early on for Pelio. Got a couple of swings and misses at that earlier back in that first inning.
Here's the pitch, and they go fastball high. It misses, however, as Lazaro now on. That's the second walk dealt by Pelio in this inning, his 3rd of the game, just through an inning and a third here.
Yeah, I mean, he's only allowed 2 hits in this game so far, but they've been very timely for the M's, and the other guys he's put on himself. Guys will punish you for you at that, especially in a league like this.
5 of the first 9 so far for the Mariners getting on base. Now you have Corey Acton. He got on with a leadoff walk to open up the game. Ended up coming all the way around to score on that errant throw from Pelio over to third.
Yep, and that's why you keep your head on a swivel. You never know when an opportunity like that's going to present itself, but if you're not ready, a lot of times guys will get caught napping, sometimes even get caught between the bag and the plate.
And that was a moment where Acton should not have made it over to third.
No.
Because Pelio did realize in time as that second pitch misses down low, count now 2-0.
Yeah, Acton was caught dead to rights. There was no reason he should have been safe at third base, but not only does he get third, he also gets to come across and score the first run of the day.
The 2-0 count here. Pelio staring back at McKeithen on second. Looks into home, delivers, and Acton sends one out in towards left. Running in to make the catch is Curiali. And he will make the catch, and there are 2 down now here. McKeithen still on second, and standing on first is Lazaro.
Yep, and that'll get it back up here to Ben Malgiri, who again has been swinging a good bat these last couple of days. Had the single and a run scored back in the first inning, trying to keep the inning going here for the M's.
And he's got runners on again for him here at the plate. Of course, drove Acton around. First pitch into Malgiri, misses down low, counts 1-0. Cloud coverage giving way a bit here at Gov Fuller. Turning into a beautiful day. After it's been overcast most of the day, the 1-0 pitch is in for a called strike, 1-1.
Yeah, Malgiri, not a huge fan, but he'll have to step back in and try to focus up. So far, Pelio has not looked, some guys do get a little antsy when they have to go to the stretch working with runners on, but for Pelio, just another day at the ballpark here.
Waiting on deck for the Mariners, Brock Wilkin. Here's the 1-1. Takes a bounce in the dirt, and runners will hold as the catcher Smith behind the plate was able to make the stop.
course, that's one more feature of Gov Fuller Field. You've got nothing but chain link behind home plate. So anything that goes back there, not only is it going to stop, but it's just going to deaden right there. You see guys sometimes grab an extra bag if the catcher isn't quick enough.
Here's the 2-1. And he'll take that for another ball. We've seen a few of those so far here from Pelio, having some command issues so far.
Well, the one thing you really don't want to do if you're Pelio is walk the bases loaded for Brock Wilken, who stands on deck. Going to have to be careful, but with a 3-1 count, Malgiri's swinging away on this.
The pitch, and it misses up high. And it looks like Malgiri had no intentions on swinging that, making Pelio have to do work, and that does walk the bases loaded. So now you have Aaron McKeithen standing on third, Jake Lazaro standing on second. Ben Malgiri now stands on first, and Brock Wilken in a big spot here. And as the manager here for Falmouth comes out, and we have some action, it looks like in a moment perhaps here for Falmouth in their bullpen. Just a conversation for now.
Yeah, nobody up and warming yet. Jeff Trundy out there talking to his guy, and you wonder if there will be action this early on in the season. Of course, plenty of guys that you want to see. It's never a bad thing through these first couple of weeks to get the bullpen up and working early. But as we saw with Hyannis a couple of nights ago, you use too many guys, sooner or later the M's or whoever you're playing against, they're going to find somebody they like. So likely you want to try to keep Pelio in the game, but with the bases loaded right now, anything can happen. And I'll tell you what, this is a prime position here for the M's to break this thing wide open.
Wilken, he has been excellent for the Mariners so far this season. One of the top in the league right now in batting average. First pitch into him, misses up high, gets away. Thinking about coming home was McKeithen. Took a few steps and then trots back towards third as Pelio charged in, and Smith got to the ball quickly enough to cut down any chance of a play.
Yeah, we'll definitely give him the benefit of the doubt. I think he was contemplating that. It looked like he may have stumbled a little bit on the way, but got to remember that's also a catcher out there at third base. So decent speed out there, but nothing that's going to see him swipe a bag like that.
Wilken, he has 2 RBI on the season, looking for a few more. That pitch missing down low now, count at 2-0 with 2 outs here.
And the Mariners are really letting Pelio do the heavy lifting on this. Very, very patient at the plate right now until he puts one over, and so far, he's just not attacking the strike zone.
No, good adjustment by these Mariners batters, understanding the approach he's taking. 2-0 pitch, and Wilken does chase after that one there. Thought he had something he liked, but whizzed right by him at 93 miles per hour. 2-1.
Yep, not a bad idea. Still very much a hitter's count here on 2-1. Pelio trying to battle back. He just needs one more out, and he can get it anywhere.
Wilken did strike out in his last at-bat. Takes a pitch here in the dirt, though. Catcher doesn't know where it is. McKeithen's going to come home, and he's safe. The catcher, Smith, had bounced up. The ball ended up landing right at home, but Smith was looking over towards the Mariners' dugout in the complete opposite direction of the ball. And by the time Mason Pelio charged in from home to pick up the ball, McKeithen was already halfway home and had no chance of being tagged out. So more opportunity, Mariners being more opportunistic with their offense early in this one.
Yep, and no longer a tag at any bag either. Going to have to find a way to get this out. Actually, correction, everybody else held up. But yeah, that's one that, for Pelio, you assume your catcher is going to have that ball, especially when it's sitting right on the plate. Unfortunately, not able to hustle in fast enough, and the M's scratch across another run, up 3-0 here.
Just a communication error there, as it was right at home plate, but he took a few steps away. Could have had McKeithen, but of course McKeithen reading that very well. The pitch, and that will be in for a strike. Brock Wilken thought he had it, took a step towards first, cocked the bat back as if to throw it towards the dugout, but then the call from Ronaldo Cockrum at home plate, the home plate umpire, keeping him in the batter's box. Count now full at 3-2. Three-two pitch down in the dirt, runners going, and they will be permitted free passage as Brock Wilken now stands on first with a walk, and that is the third walk of the inning, fourth walk of the day. No, pardon me, fourth walk of the inning, fifth walk of the day from Mason Pelio.
Yeah, the Mariners have the bases loaded to run across, and they haven't even gotten a hit this inning. So again, Pelio doing some of the heavy lifting here. And oh yeah, by the way, if you thought the situation was going to get any easier, now you have to face off against the hottest hitter in the Cape, Kincaid Beloso.
The lefty in the batter's box takes a hold of the first pitch he sees, hits it right at the shortstop, Braden Taylor. Throw onto first, takes a hop, and they get out of the inning. So the Mariners do get one more across after a ball was missed at the plate by the catcher Smith, but with Beloso at the plate and the bases loaded, grounds out to end the inning. We move now to the bottom of the second inning. Mariners leading the Commodores by a score of 3-0. You are listening to the Harwich Mariners on the Mariners YouTube network. Back into Gov Fuller Field here at Falmouth. A defensive alignment here for the Mariners. Now Hal Hughes, the traditional shortstop out of Rice, he's slotting in over at second base defensively for the Mariners. Leadoff guy here for the Commodores is going to be Jake Ducart, as the Commodores, I should say, they went down 1-2-3 effectively in the first inning. Meanwhile, the Mariners off to a hot start. They're already halfway through the lineup on their part for the second time around.
Yeah, but again, it's interesting to note all of that. They've only had 2 hits so far and only 1 RBI. Everything else has been a combination of defensive miscues and errors on the other side of things. So,
ball skied up towards right. A couple of players charging in for it, and it'll be the center fielder Ben Malgiri out of Northeastern charging in to make the catch, and there's one down in the bottom of the second.
Yeah, but Manning's got to go in here early, a guy that does definitely trust his defense, and we'll see whether he can continue playing into that here. Already a strikeout for him as well.
This will bring up Jace Borfin, right fielder today for the Commodores. First pitch into him, brushes him back off the plate. He's ahead 1-0.
Yeah, University of Florida also becoming kind of a bit of a feeder here for the Harwich Mariners. Of course, Corey Acton returning from last year, as this one is checked on, and they say he went around for a strike. And Timmy Manning, the most recent Gator, to come in here and join the Ups.
With the count even. And it's in for a called strike at 87 from Manning. Count now goes to 1-2.
Yeah, and of course Manning, I mean, again, that curveball, that is his go-to pitch. See if he goes to it here on a 1-2.
And the 1-2, he got him. Looking was Borfin. Manning found the strike zone. Quickly 2 down in the bottom of the second.
Yep, and there was that breaking ball again. Just completely pulled the string there on Jace Borfin. And he comes back and gets a strikeout. So again, just a 3-pitch guy, but uses them very effectively.
As a nice at-bat there for Manning. This now brings up Brennan Malone, first baseman for the Commodores. Pitch is in for a called strike. Malone, sophomore, plays out of South Carolina. Batted .216 as charging in from third to pick up the ball. Wilkin throw on to first, and he is out. A little dribbler over to Wilkin at third, makes a throw on to Putz at first, and a very quick 1-2-3 inning. Excellent play defensively by the Mariners. And right, just like that, they're coming back up to bat. So we'll be back in just a minute. You are listening to the Harwich Mariners on the Mariners YouTube network. 5, 6, 7 batters due up for the Mariners in this inning. It'll be Carter Putz, Zach Preisner, and Aaron McKeithen due up. Putz last time around in his first at-bat as a Mariner had a single, and it helped to drive a run across. Run, of course, ended up being unearned. But even still helping to drive this Mariners offense, which is off to its best start of the season.
Yeah, and just a smart piece of hitting there. Wasn't trying to hit it over the left field fence, wasn't trying to crank one. He just poked it up the middle and got the run across, and that's exactly what you got to do, especially here early on in the season, settling into the pitching.
Pelio still on the mound for the Commodores. First pitch he delivers is high in the zone, missing for a ball. Count 1-0.
I mean, the zone troubles have just been intense for Pelio. We'll try to find you some numbers on it here in just a moment, but he has not been able to locate us here. He misses again.
And that one high and a bit more inside. Count 2-0.
I mean, Pelio right now has thrown the same number of pitches outside of the zone as what he has in it. 27 balls to 27 strikes.
And the 55th pitch of the game is in for a strike.
Quick math work over here by Tim Foley, much better than me. You would have heard me taking my shoes and socks off if I had to count over 10.
2-1 pitch, fouled off, and Pelio finding a way to even the count now. It's 2-2.
But I would venture to guess that, again, of those 27 strikes that he's thrown, a number of those have been Mariners batters swinging at something near or outside of the zone and tipping it foul. I want to see his actual number of what's in the zone, but it has not been particularly high early on here for Pelio.
As this ball hit on the ground, that's going to get up the middle. A leadoff hit here for Putz.
Same spot, same result that time. Single right up the middle on the ground. Nothing too crazy there. And a leadoff man aboard here for the third consecutive inning here for the Harwich Mariners. They've been doing this all season long, Tim.
Now you have Zach Preisner coming up to bat. Grounded out to over towards first with Pelio charging over to make the catch for the out. He's got his Notre Dame teammate Carter Putz standing over on first. First pitch in, dealt for a called strike. 0-1. The 0-1 pitch. That one's missing up high. 1-1 now.
Yeah, and again, Preisner, another one of those patient guys settling in here. One of a number of Notre Dame Fighting Irish players to make the roster. I believe 4 or 5 here for the Mariners in 2021.
I know we've got a couple, at least 4. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Chasing after it was Putz. Home plate umpire Ronaldo Cockrum saying he goes around. And so Pelio now ahead in the count, 1-2. Aaron McKeithen standing on deck, led off the second inning with a walk. Ended up coming all the way around to score on that funky play at home where the catcher lost track of the ball. Ball hit on a line, just foul down that third base line.
Yep, it's a game of inches, and again, especially when you're talking about the corners like that, anything can make a big difference down that line. Preisner, of course, coming off a season in which he hit .280 for the Fighting Irish. 23 RBIs and 6 home runs for him that season as well.
He's behind 1-2. Here's the pitch. And once again, it'll be fouled off. These Mariners are not letting up on Pelio. They have been fighting him in every last at-bat so far in this one.
Well, and that sense of confidence goes through the lineup, even for the guys that didn't hit off of him the first time through. When your team is hitting off of a guy like this, and when this guy is not able to locate in the zone, you just get this sense that you own him. And a lot of times that works out to kind of continue piling on with the offense.
Here's the 1-2. That one's down in the dirt, held on to by Smith. Putz stays put over at first.
Yeah, you can kind of tell here, too. I mean, Pelio, he wants the ball down. He wants to try to finish guys off with a low off-speed pitch, but he just has not been able to get his fastball working, establish it enough to really set that up. And guys know it right now here for the M's.
So now a 2-2 count. Preisner. This one skied up. Looks like it's going to land squarely on the press box, just behind home plate.
And that is also a reminder to me that we are once again in foul ball territory. Tim, you bring your glove to the ballpark today?
I did not.
Ah,
Tyler, did you?
I did not. I did not. I trust my hands, you know.
Okay, well, good luck to you. As the 2-2 count here, set up for Preisner. Pelio sets, stares in, gives a nod, delivers. Ball bounces in the dirt, and count now full. Excellent patience so far from this at-bat from Preisner.
Yeah, and again, everything down right now for Pelio. Missed a couple of fastballs up earlier, and again, that's not a spot you typically want to miss, but he is going to have to come back and put something in the zone here, or he's going to issue another walk.
It's a full count. Pelio delivers, runner goes, sliced back, and Putz will go back to first. Preisner, he'll load up again for another 3-2 count.
Yep, not a bad idea there. 3-2, trying to send Putz, and best case scenario, of course, you get a gapper to the fence. That'll score him. Also, the first chance we get to really kind of see the speed on full display here for the two Notre Dame infielders.
Runner goes again. This time it's down low once more from Pelio. And that is the 6th walk delivered by Pelio through 3 innings, through 2 complete innings. No outs yet in this one. As there is a Commodore in the bullpen warming up, we have the pitcher, or a pitching change is coming here for Falmouth. Jeff Trundy heading out to the mound. That is going to be the day for Mason Pelio. Delivered 6 walks. We'll take a short break here. We'll get you the new Falmouth pitcher. We will break down the day for Pelio, but just a reminder, Putz is standing on second, Preisner standing on first. There are no outs, and the Mariners lead it 3-0 here in the top of the 3rd inning from Falmouth. You are listening to the Harwich Mariners on the Mariners YouTube network. Bringing it back to Falmouth now, new pitcher on the mound for the Commodores. It's Alex Price, the junior lefty out of Middlebury College. Stands about 6'2", weighs about 200 pounds. And so the pitcher Pelio, his day is done. We'll give you his final stat line at the bottom of the inning because we will have to see what happens with these runners on the bases. He is responsible for each Carter puts on second and Zach Preisner on first. The Irish giving him some trouble. Aaron McKeithen now standing in the batter's box. Walked his last at bat, ended up coming all the way around to score in that same inning. This ball hit on the ground right over to third, charging the third base bag for the tag. Throw on to first for the double play. Can't connect. Ball got away from the first baseman. It was an errant throw. Now coming home to score is going to be Preisner. McKeithen's going back for third. He's sliding in. Safe. Aaron McKeithen on his horse ends up getting all the way around to third base after a couple of missed throws from the Commodores.
Yeah, just an absolute disastrous breakdown there in every sense of the word. Unfortunate situation there for Falmouth, but Harwich once again capitalizes. And as the dust settles here, we'll reset the scene. But again, McKeithen on his horse. It's also interesting because, Tim, I'm not sure. This is the first season here in the Cape, but down there on the right field line, for those listening at home, there is a gap between the fence and the bleachers. This first pitch misses outside to Kavanaugh. If it goes into the bleachers, it's a dead ball, and the runner is just awarded the next base. But it stopped at the fence. That allowed McKeithen to turn the corner and head for third. So again, a game of inches. It works out for the M's.
Most certainly does, as now with one out, a runner on third. And it's been a lot. There's been a lot of misfortune for the Commodores to open it up. A lot of walks and a couple of errant plays that have allowed runs to come home. The first two runs in this game unearned for the Mariners. 1-1 pitch delivers, just missing the zone. Now 2-1.
But again, if you're the M's, you take him any way you can get him. I mean, right now you got a guy standing on third base on a fielder's choice. Not a bad situation to be in.
2-1 the count. Pitch delivered, misses high. Now 3-1 the count.
And these are still the situations you have to cash in on. Press Kavanaugh at the plate, as you mentioned, and a runner on just 90 feet away, one away here in the inning. Got to find a way to bring him across to score.
Price on the mound. The righty delivers. Chopped on the ground by Kavanaugh. Takes a bounce towards second. Throw on to first. And they're going to say he is safe. He bobbled it over at first. Brennan Malone could not pick it out of the dirt. It was the shortstop, Braden Taylor, who made the throw over. But a couple of misplays from the infield here, and another run comes across for the Mariners in McKeithen. And that's now 5-0 the score here. Mariners in the top of the third.
Tell you what, the yips can be contagious defensively for a baseball team. Now it's spreading to everybody except for maybe the outfield, and Harwich capitalizing. It would have been a tough play over there at first, don't get me wrong, but it just feels like when it rains, it pours, and Falmouth right now just cannot get it going defensively.
So 1 out. Kavanaugh standing on first, and Lazaro takes the first pitch he sees and says, I'll send that foul. Goes over our heads along this third base line. Count opens up at 0-1.
And that is ruled an error. So that is the third error of the day for Falmouth. They've allowed 5 runs to come across to score. I believe only 2 of them of the earned variety.
Price will check over on Kavanaugh at first. It's an 0-1 count. Lazaro walked in his last at-bat. This Falmouth pitching staff has awarded the second most walks in the Cape League so far at 22 across their first 4 games of play. And already here today with a handful. The 0-1 pitch in for a called strike, now 0-2.
Yeah, it's been messy at times, but again, you take it how you can get it for Harwich, and these are the kinds of things that get the bats going. You get runs on the board, guys start to develop that confidence. Whether they're earned or unearned, it doesn't really make a difference. It's all for the guys up in their heads.
Falmouth ahead in the count here, 0-2. Lazaro gets a piece of this one, sends it off foul. And we have not seen it all that often where a Commodore pitcher has gotten ahead in a count, as Price is ahead here, 0-2, trying to put Lazaro at the plate on defense here a bit in the box. Here's the 0-2. That one just missing. look to be high and outside, 1-2.
Of course, Hal Hughes right now standing in the on-deck circle in place of Corey Acton, who replaced him defensively, so we'll see him come up to bat unless there's a double play here. Be the worst-case scenario for Lazaro right now at the plate.
The 1-2 pitch. That misses inside. Count now 2-2.
Well, and of course, you're talking about Alex Price, a guy for Middlebury College. Tim, do you know where Middlebury College is?
Somewhere in Massachusetts. Connecticut.
Actually, Connecticut, yes. I did not know that before I looked it up.
Runner goes. Diving towards second. Ball gets away from the shortstop. It's backed up by Huna. And now Kavanaugh standing on second with a stolen base.
Absolutely. So a runner in scoring position here, no chance to turn two.
Vermont, the culprit, Middlebury College in Vermont. Three, 2 the count here. Runner on second and press Kavanaugh. 1 out. Jake Lazaro takes the full count pitch and once again fouls that off towards the left side. There's been a lot of fouls on this left side.
But he's battled back here. Again, down 0-2 here in this count. He's fought his way back to a full count, and now you're in a position, if you're Alex Price, you got to put something in the zone here.
3 strikeouts from these Commodores, 6 walks as well. 3-2 the count. Lazaro once more off foul towards the left. He is battling at the plate here.
Yep, more lengthy at bats here. It's exactly what you need if you're Harwich. See a couple more pitches and just try to keep the line moving at this point.
Mind you, Jake Lazaro, he's the 9 batter. This will be the second complete time that the Mariners have gotten through their lineup. Falmouth, they've had 2 1-2-3 innings. I mean, you talk about momentum. It is certainly in favor of the Mariners as that pitch in for a called strike. Lazaro thought about throwing the bat off and taking a step towards first, but knew better as the call was in for a strike. That is the first strikeout from the new pitcher, Price. 4th strikeout of the day for the Commodores.
Yep, and with 2 away, he'll have an opportunity to face Hal Hughes for the first time today. Hughes not in the starting lineup, but coming in again as a defensive substitute, taking over for Corey Acton at second base and taking a spot in the lineup as well.
So Hughes now with 2 outs against the Mariners. Takes the first pitch down low. Kavanaugh still standing over at first. 5-0 the lead for the Mariners. It's been a lot of mishaps early on from the Commodores. 3 errors charged against them, and the Mariners taking full advantage of it.
Yeah, a bit of a comedy of errors at times here. No pun intended, but again, just mistake after mistake defensively here for the Doors.
The 1-0. Misses the zone. 2-0 now the count.
It's also made for a kind of a grueling early game here. It's not a stat that obviously makes a difference in baseball, but if you're looking at time of possession for this game, it's been very heavily in favor of the Mariners in terms of who's been up to bat.
And this one clocked squarely up the middle. Coming home from second to score is going to be Kavanaugh. Ball ended up in the hands of Anthony Hall out in center. So on first with a single, RBI single, I should say, is Hal Hughes. And that's the 3rd time in 3 innings that the top of the order has come up to bat for the Mariners.
Well, and how about this too, Tim? This is the 5th run that comes across, or correction, the 6th run that comes across here for Harwich. They've done it with no home runs and just 4 hits. They have been gifted some base runners, but this is what we wanted to see them do. When they do get those runners on, bring them across, and that's what the M's have found a way to do this afternoon.
First pitch into the new batter in Malgeri misses for a ball. It's 1-0. So Preisner, McKeithen, and Kavanaugh, each of them have crossed the plate in this inning. Malgeri is the 7th batter to come up in the inning. Ball was hit over to third, throw on to first in time, and the Commodores are out of the inning. But the Mariners, they tack on a few more. They continue what has been a tear to open up this one. Most successful offensive outing so far. They lead it 6-0 over the Commodores after 2.5 innings of play. We move now to the bottom of the third. Mariners leading 6-0. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners on the Mariners YouTube network. Back with you now in Falmouth. Anthony Hall leading it off for the Commodores. This is the first at-bat for him. Meanwhile, some Mariners have gotten up to bat 3 times already in this game. He takes the first pitch he sees, sends it on a ride out to right field. Underneath it, coming over to make the catch, is the center fielder, Ben Malgiri. And there's quickly one away on the first pitch here, dealt to Anthony Hall.
Well, yeah, Tim, we're an hour into this ball game, and the 7-hole hitter for Falmouth just got his first at bat. That's pretty incredible when you look at how long Harwich has spent at the plate in this game.
They've had some exceptionally long at bats, just battling, getting to full counts if they fall behind, really making these 2 pitchers early on for Falmouth, Pelio and then Price, who is now on the mound for the Commodores, do a lot of work. As that last inning was all Price for the Commodores. Now up to bat, Taylor Smith, the catcher for Falmouth. Manning delivering. And first pitch, a called strike.
And, of course, the one downside on the other end of that, Timmy Manning spending a lot of time in the dugout, you know, that arm trying to keep it warm. But with these long innings, you know, he has to come back out, and these warm-up pitches mean a little bit more.
And that's a nice pitch right there. 80 miles per hour down low, gets Smith to chase after it. Manning now ahead in the count 0-2. And when you have a long break like that, for good reason, you're now up 6-0. I think as a pitcher, you'll take that.
Yeah, no, you certainly will. And if there is any wear and tear, it's not showing here.
Except that pitch clocks Smith right in the left foot. So he will take a free base. And this will bring up Cody Colden.
I think the broadcaster's jinx is one of the most consistent things in all of sports. It's already happened like 4 times today.
Number 3, Cody Colden.
We have to say something. Dead air is the one of the big rules we're not allowed to break here on the Mariners YouTube network. Can't have too much of it. As Cody Colden, as mentioned, now up to bat. First pitch into him. Misses down low. Count now 1-0. Colden, a junior out of Washington State. Batted .320 for the Cougars. 38 RBI. He chops this one over to third. Wilkin tried to glove it. It did bounce on that third base line just before it got into Wilkin's glove. So fortunately for Wilkin and the Mariners, play blown dead before Smith had a chance to make it over to second.
Yeah, not a bad play there off the hop there by Wilkin. Just couldn't keep it in his glove. The transition a little bit awkward that time. But again, nothing goes against him there. Count stays here at 1-1.
The 1-1 from Manning. Up high, 2-1.
Yep, and the first time this entire game that Timmy Manning has pitched out of the stretch here. Has a good view of Taylor Smith, the man he put on first.
This is the second time a Commodore has gotten off base. It was the leadoff man, Maui Ahuna, who singled to open things up for the Commodores. This ball skied up by Colden. Coming over to make the catch in left is Lazaro. And the runner in Smith will stay put over at first. 2 down now with a man on first for that very batter, Maui Ahuna, now coming up to bat.
Yep, Ahuna looking to hopefully be a little more productive. Did get on base, but again, after the ground that into a double play there by Carey Alley, not a whole lot they could really do with it. So runner on first here, 2 away, just trying to get something going here, get some confidence back into the bats here for the Commodores.
And perhaps now they're hoping second time through. You've seen what Manning can do. As the first pitch misses for a ball, 85 miles per hour up high. Manning delivers. Ball popped up. Foul along that third base side. Unplayable into the neighboring neighborhood.
And Timmy Manning, one of those guys that's been tabbed as a potential, you know, again, if you're talking about the collegiate level, like a Saturday starter here for the Mariners this season. So far looking very good.
This ball hit squarely just over the head of Hughes. Landing down into second, going for third is going to be Smith. And with 2 outs, the Commodores now have runners on the corners.
Yep, another good piece of hitting there by Ahuna, just able to poke it over the glove there of Hal Hughes, and that'll bring up Carey Alley, who's looking to change his fortunes from the first time up after grounding into a double play.
So that does push Ahuna to 2 for 2 on the day. There are 2 outs here. It will take a base hit or some sort of misplay by either the catcher McKeithen or pitcher Manning to bring the runner in Taylor Smith home for the first run for the Commodores. Again, Mariners up 6-0 at the moment. Manning's first pitch sent out towards left. That takes a bounce, and it is a base hit off the first pitch seen by Curiali. Runners now standing on first and second. That's the first run of the day for Falmouth.
Yep, it all happening very fast here. 3 out of 4 batters getting on. Started off with a hit by pitch, and that would have probably had him out of the inning if he had come back and gotten him. He was ahead 0-2, but instead, he'll face Braden Taylor here with runners on first and second. Still a comfortable 5-run lead for the M's, though.
Don't want to get too comfortable, of course, with a lead. Still got to go out and shut down any kind of offense. Get into these Commodores' heads at the plate because they can hit. I mean, they have shown it throughout this season. The Commodores have their 3rd in the league coming into today in regards to runs scored. And they also 3rd in the league in extra base hits, so they can hit it. They can hit it hard. Want to know the count? Manning, the lefty, delivers. Pitch in for a called strike, down at about the knees. 1-1 the count.
Yep, Manning just going to have to settle in here, fight back in the count, and again, still 1-1. But after the last couple of guys get off on him, sometimes people struggle to locate, struggle to put it back in the zone.
As the next pitch in for a called strike, it certainly is a different mentality you have to have as a pitcher with runners on. And perhaps that creeping in for Manning, but he has been working well in this at-bat. A 1-2 count now here to the batter, Braden Taylor. He struck out to end the first. He gets a ball squarely here. That's going to hop down in center field. Runner's going to come home to score. That's Maui Ahuna. Standing on second is Michael Curiali. And some offense pouring in here for the Commodores. That's now 3 hits in a row for the Doors. They've scored 2 in the inning. And a quick conversation between McKeithen and Manning. They go back to the mound and the plate. This brings up Jake Ducart. Flew out to center field to open up the 2nd inning.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, again, doing it all with singles. Nothing crazy, nothing into the gaps necessarily, just keeping the line moving. A little small ball action here for Falmouth.
1-0 the count as the first pitch misses low and inside. Cart out of Oregon State. Batted .268. Runners go. Ball hit on the ground. Right through. No. Hughes makes the grab. What a nice defensive play from Hal Hughes. Makes the throw over to first to end the inning. That ball from here looked like it had some good pace to it, but Hughes shuffling over to his left makes a really nice play over at second as the runners were going on the play. The hit and run attempt is unsuccessful, but overall, call it a successful inning for the Commodores. They're able to get 2 runs back after a string of hits come across. They now trail it by 4. It's 6-2 Harwich. We head now into the top of the 4th inning here from Falmouth. We'll be back in just a moment. Don't go too far. You're listening to the Mariners YouTube Network. Welcome back to the top of the 4th inning. Mariners fans, Curry College is where you go to become anything you want. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers with learning beyond the classroom. Explore undergraduate programs, NCAA Division III athletics, and continuing education and graduate studies, including 5th-year master's programs at www.curry.edu. And now for the play-by-play for the next 3 innings, my broadcast partner, Tyler Henry.
Thank you, Tim. First pitch on the way. In there for a called strike here to Brock Wilkin, who will settle in. So far on the day, 0 for 1 officially, reached on a walk back in the 2nd inning, a strikeout in the 1st. Batting from the right side. Another inning of work coming up here for Alex Price, who came in to try to put the fire out back in the 3rd, and his next delivery is in there for a called strike. He is out ahead of Brock Wilkin here, 0-2.
Yeah, if you're Falmouth, you're just hoping for an efficient inning. I mean, there's been 6+ batters in each of the 3 innings at the plate so far for the Mariners.
Yeah, Harwich has done just about everything but bat around, but that could certainly happen later on here. So the next pitch is going to miss outside. Tried to get him to the chase there, brought the off speed about 72 miles an hour. Nothing doing. Wilkin holds off. Of course, it'll be Wilkin, then Cade Beloso, then Carter Putz due up here for the M's, as the lineup really starting to find some cohesion here this evening. 1-2 pitch. That'll miss down and inside. Ducking out of the way there is Wilkin, in the count even at 2 apiece.
Yeah, it's just been so tough for Falmouth to establish a whole lot of anything and get Harwich to think twice before laying off a pitch. It's really been just an excellent night at the plate in regards to vision for the Mariners.
Yeah, and they've been a lot more patient as well. The 2-2, this one swung on and hit a ton. High and deep, out to left field, back to the wall. It is gone. Solo shot for Brock Wilkin. Nothing that Carey Alley could do out in left, but watch it go, and that was a tank. Out to left field. Mariners on top, 7-2.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about patience. Talk about waiting for your pitch. A nice at-bat from Wilkin. Count ends up at 2-2, but he found something he liked, and man, did he get a hold of it. Sends it well over out into the hill that's just beyond that left field fence, and already the Mariners right back at it.
I mean, he may have hit that one to the road. You looked the other day, that home run by Ben Malgiri, it tucked over the fence. That did not tuck over the fence. That was blasted out to left. So standing in now is Cade Beloso, who takes ball 1. Alex Price comes set. The southpaw kicks and deals. This will miss outside as well. You see the confidence maybe a bit shaken there for Price, who's pitching awfully carefully here to the Mariners' cleanup hitter. So Beloso digs in. Price ready with the next pitch. Looks in for the sign. Comes set. The 2-0. And that's in there for strike one. So Price battles his way back. Of course, we had a chance to talk with Cade Beloso yesterday, and he said a big key to his success has just been keeping with his approach from college, not changing anything here at this level. So he chops one foul down the first base line, and the count even now at 2-2.
And it's good to see him have the early season success that he has had. Wasn't the greatest year for him over at LSU. Batted .226, lowest of his career as a Tiger, but having some excellent success here in the early Cape League season.
Yep, and of course, this is a great place to revitalize things, especially for some of the guys that play in these bigger conferences. Swings at this one, skies it high in the air, drifting back into foul territory, and well out of play. Count will stay here at 2-2. So it'll be Beloso, and then again, the duo of Fighting Irish members due up next. But right now, a 2-2 count on Beloso. Pitch on the way, takes a big cut and fouls it back to the screen. Count stays at 2 apiece here. Lights coming on here at Gov Fuller Field. Again, about a third of the way through this one. Mariners on top by a score of 7-2 after the home run. And it has been a good night for the M's here offensively. With that home run, I believe, I'll go back and double check the book, I believe they've totaled their run total for the season. This ball is swung on and taken right at the second baseman. Ahuna picks it up, throws on to first in time for out number 1. Getting confirmation now from our statistics expert, Colin Casey, sitting to my right here, and also from Tim that is correct. So again, through the first 4 games of the season, 7 runs for the Mariners. Through the first 3 innings of this game, 7 runs for the Mariners.
I mean, this is exactly what you're hoping for if you're Harwich. You knew the numbers coming into this one, that Falmouth didn't have the strongest staff to open up the season, and so that gives you some confidence coming in that you might be able to get your bats going, and they've done just that this night.
First pitch to Putz, misses up and out. Count starts off here at 1-0.
Granted, a lot of that has been balls, but it's just about your approach to the plate. You're taking a lot that's clearly off. You're having excellent patience at the plate, and then taking advantage of what's there, what they like when it does come across.
Absolutely. This ball swung on and taken down the line. It'll be gloved there by Dukart. Turns, fires back to first, draws him off the base, and that's going to be enough. How about that? They tried. As McKinney over there at first base just came off the bag a little bit, the throw wide. And that'll allow Carter Putz to reach.
I mean, that's a tough play to make over at third, but if you're Dukart, he had really nice pace on that throw, has a good enough arm to be able to make that, and had it with enough time as well, but just missing the mark, not close enough to keep Malone on the bag.
And how about that, too? Carter Putz starts off his Cape League career 3 for 3 with a trio of singles. To bring up his teammate, Zach Preisner, who so far today has reached on a walk and has a ground out as well, just 0 for 1 officially. Mariners still trying to get things sorted here, leading it currently by 5. Only out hitting Falmouth by 2, but again, cashing in on opportunities when given. Alex Price sets and deals. Ball slices back into the zone. Count goes here to 1-1. Preisner still trying to pick out a pitch that he likes here, looking for his first hit of the CCBL season in his debut. The 1-1. That'll miss in the dirt. Count goes to 2-1 here. Of course, for Preisner, some big numbers before he got to the collegiate level as well. As he stares in, ready for the 2-1 pitch. And after a look to first, here it comes. Swung on and taken back up the middle. This could spell 2, but it's going to be misplayed at second base by Ahuna. And turning and digging for 3 here is Carter Putz. He'll be in without a throw. And the comedy of errors continues here for the Commodores. That is error number 4 on the day. And it puts runners at the corners for the Mariners here for Aaron McKeithen.
You said it earlier, Tyler. When it rains, it pours. That's just tough luck for Ahuna over at second. He squared it up, was ready to turn a double play perhaps, and just takes a funky bounce off either the lip of the dirt heading into the dirt off the grass, or off some dirt in the infield. nonetheless, a lot of misfortune here for the Commodores.
And speaking of misfortune, a guy that provoked a little bit of that at the plate now, and Aaron McKeithen. So far today, he is 0 for 1 with the fielder's choice, but he's scored 2 runs. And on that very fielder's choice, a lot of things happened, led to a Harwich run and put him on third base after what could have potentially been a double play ball. Right now, trying to drive a run at Mariners in prime position right now, up 7-2. The pitch from Price. Runner goes to second. There will be a throw down. He sails it almost into center field, but it's going to be cut off there by Taylor. And it's a good thing that Taylor was there, because if he was not, that was going to be another Mariners run. That one overcooked by Smith behind the plate.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, Taylor, he was in stride because that thing was launched down quickly and well over the head of Ahuna. So near disaster again for the Commodores. Taylor, good speed to be able to cross over and back that up.
And now no chance for a double play here for the Commodores. Aaron McKeithen still looking for his first hit of the day. Stands in. Pitch on the way. Swung on and flared out to right. This one will be caught. Should be deep enough to score the run, as tagging and coming home is Putz. They will go ahead and send Preisner around to third. The throw heads to third, and it's not in time. So a sac fly here for Aaron McKeithen puts the M's on top 8-2 as Harwich continues to press their advantage.
Yeah, McKeithen having a really excellent day at the plate. I mean, 1 for 4 coming into today, but he's had some excellent at-bats that have contributed a lot to this Mariners offense so far. A walk, and of course you mentioned the chaotic offerings from that fielder's choice back in the third, and then just then the sac fly to drive in a run and drive another one over to third. Really quality day at the plate from McKeithen so far.
Absolutely. So here comes Prez Kavanaugh. First pitch to him. That'll miss up and in. Count starts off at 1-0. Mariners with 2 away here in the inning, but they do have Zach Preisner standing over there on third base, ready to bring in another run if Prez Kavanaugh can find a way to get him in. Kavanaugh stands in from the left side. Lefty on lefty matchup here. The 1-0. Misses down. Count goes to 2-0. And again, the further into these innings you go, you see Alex Price start to shy away from that strike zone a little bit, not attacking it the way he did earlier, as he falls behind yet another batter. Kavanaugh digs in. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. That'll miss up and in, nowhere near the strike zone that time, and he has dug himself a hole here, has Alex Price.
Yeah, Price about mid-40s in regards to pitches. This will be 46 from the lefty.
See how much longer Falmouth elect to keep him in the game. Next pitch on the way. This one misses just off the plate. And that is a 4-pitch walk here issued to Prez Kavanaugh. That puts runners at the corners for Jake Lazaro, who is 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a walk today. Walks have been an issue in this game for both pitchers on the Falmouth side. Of course, talking about 6 walks issued by Mason Pelio. So far, tack a pair onto that here for Alex Price. But nobody up and warming at the moment in that Falmouth bullpen, so it looks like they intend to stay with Price at least for the time being. Maybe trying to test the mettle of a guy who is on the temporary contract before some other guys arrive. So again, as previously mentioned, just to reset the scene here, Jake Lazaro at the dish. Runners at the corners for the Mariners. They've got Preisner on third, Kavanaugh on first. Fresh count, quick move over to first. Just trying to keep the runner honest after what they saw out of Zach Preisner swiping second. Wouldn't be terribly surprised if we see Kavanaugh try to do the same here. As an outfielder, we know he's got speed. Pitch on the way. This one stung right at the first baseman. It'll be picked up by Milkney. Steps on the bag in time, and the inning is over. But not before 2 come across for the Mariners, including a towering shot for Brock Wilken over the left field fence. M's on top 8-2. When we come back, more Harwich Mariners baseball you're watching, or rather listening, here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back to baseball here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Tyler Henry alongside Tim Foley, as it'll be the 5, 6, and 7 hitters due up here for Falmouth. First pitch missing low here for Timmy Manning. Another inning of work coming up here for him. And what have you seen out of the southpaw that you've liked here early on, Tim?
Well, he's had some pretty good stuff. I mean, not a whole lot in regards to strikeouts.
This ball's taken right at the first baseman. It'll be scooped up. He'll step on the bag in time. Good recovery there by Carter Putz for the first out of the inning.
But he's zoned in. You know, you get a lead like that as a starting pitcher, and that helps you to really get settled in. And he opened the game up, retiring the first 7 batters effectively. He did, of course, hit Taylor Smith. That led to some offense for the Commodores, but I want to see him bounce back here after he gave up a few hits, gave up a few runs, but then got some more support from his guys.
Yeah, so far so good. 2 pitches, 1 out, and he gets a big swing and a ball foul back to the press box here on Brendan Malone, who is 0 for 1. He grounded out to the third baseman his first time up. The other thing I think we're getting a look at here in this game, Tim, the defense looks very good for these Notre Dame guys.
It does.
The 0-1 pitch swung on and fouled away. Similar pitch, similar result. And now Timmy Manning has got Malone eating out of the palm of his hand. Malone's going to have to put down the shovel and pick up a bat.
Yeah, and then just not a whole lot in regards to this Notre Dame defense, these guys, but we did see that double play to open it up for the Mariners.
Absolutely. Pitch here in the dirt, trying to get him to chase something low. He'll leave it down as Brennan Malone elects to leave the 9-iron in the golf bag, and we'll come back here with a 1-2. From the windup, the southpaw, Manning kicks and deals. Swing and a ball popped a mile high. This will stay on the infield. Manning settles under it. Now it'll be the third baseman, Brock Wilkin, who settles under it, back just on the inside lip of the infield dirt. And that'll be the first or second out of the inning.
And those can be tricky. Good communication by the Mariners. I mean, that ball was popped well high, as you said. And so for Wilkin to communicate that he's the one who's got it, he's the one who settled underneath it. I mean, I've seen plenty of times where there's a campfire in the infield and there's a bunch of guys gathered around. It just drops down for an infield hit.
Anthony Hall standing in now. First pitch to him is in there for a strike. And yeah, there's that confidence you mentioned for Manning. Not afraid to go right at these guys. And working at a pretty quick pace here. So he's already ready for the 0-1. Similar spot, this time misses low and away. Got the official word here from, again, our statistician extraordinaire, Colin Casey. A sac fly is an unearned run, which means in this game, just 3 earned runs for the M's. As this ball swung on and hit high in the air out to left field, taking a step back, now charging in, making a diving catch, and he kept it in the glove. How about that? Dazzling defense for Jake Lazaro out in left, and that is how the 4th will end. A web gem for Jake Lazaro keeps more runners off the base paths, and the M's take an 8-2 lead into inning number 5. Don't go anywhere, folks. We've got a good one on tap here from Gov Fuller Field when we come back. The Mariners back up to bat. You're watching here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back to baseball here on the Mariners YouTube network. Top of the order due up here for Harwich. It'll be Hal Hughes, Ben Malgiri, and Brock Wilkin. Your 3 due up here for the M's. And again, a big lead right now, just trying to pat onto it if they can. Got to be feeling good right now if you're the Mariners, Tim. I mean, they have done a good job building up this lead. And with the kind of pitching we know they have in their bullpen, It's still early in this game, but you got to be feeling confident. As the first pitch it's just in there for strike one.
No, certainly confidence right now is absolutely contagious for the Mariners, especially when you get stellar defense like you got from Lazaro to cap off that bottom of the fourth.
And I think Lazaro knew he was going to have to make a play like that as this pitch misses in the dirt, count even at 1-1. He took his first 2 steps back, and it was a little bit delayed before he started running in. You could kind of tell he was leaning forward, ready to make the dive. And again, to keep that in the mitt, great play, flashing the leather out there in left field. 1-1 swung on and taken near the middle. It'll be an easy play here for Ahuna, who picks it up and throws to first inside to retire Hal Hughes for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Ben Malgiri, who today is 1 for 3. Correction, 1 for 2. Also reached on a walk. And before the stat changes, 3 times through the order here, Colin Casey pointed out to me during the break, 6 hits for Harwich. 3 of them belong to the new addition in Carter Butts.
I mean, yeah, talk about injecting some offense. We were seeing what these new guys were going to be able to do.
This ball stung into right field. That'll get down just in front of Borfin, and it's a base knock here for Malgiri.
Good thing you got that statted before. It was no longer relevant.
Of course.
No, but seriously, talk about injecting some new guys into the lineup and getting life out of everybody. I mean, it's not just been Putz and Preisner who have been having good days at the plate. You have everybody contributing, whether it be with hits or walks. I mean, Wilkin with a big bomb in the top of the 4th. And so he's back up now, of course, and really just contagious to have these guys come into the lineup, and now the Mariners are clicking.
First pitch to him, swung on up the middle. Chance to turn 2 here is stepping on the bag and throwing to first in time is Taylor. And that's going to be a very quick 1-2-3 top of the 5th here for Harwich. To the home half we go. Falmouth looking to make a comeback, down 8-2 when we come back here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
For the Mariners.
Welcome back to Gov Fuller Field. Tyler Henry, Tim Foley as we get set to resume baseball action here. New pitcher coming into the game for the Harwich Mariners. It'll be Spencer Geisting, the freshman from UNC Charlotte out of Hamilton, Ohio. And one of the few guys on this roster, Tim, that we haven't had a chance to see yet. It'll be good to see what the Southpaw can offer as Harwich goes lefty to lefty here to start this game.
Yeah, as we're finally getting through the last that this Harwich Mariners bullpen has to offer, getting a final look at what it has to offer before we start seeing guys out there to pitch multiple times. Of course, I believe one guy already making a couple of outings so far for the Mariners. Nonetheless, pretty good day from Manning. You know, he had not a lot of strikeouts, just the 2 Ks across 4 innings, but pitched to contact and really let his defense behind him do the work. Excellent job on the day by Manning, and the ball now in Geisting's hand.
Absolutely. Geisting, again, just a freshman. Getting his first hacks here in the Cape Cod Baseball League. He'll face Taylor Smith, the catcher for the Commodores. First pitch is a bullet in there for a strike. Fastball coming in at about 90 miles an hour. And let's go ahead and get you a look at the scout here on Spencer Geisting. He'll work with 3 pitches as well. Fastball, changeup, slider is the scouting report on Geisting. Working from the windup, the lefty kicks and deals. This pitch misses down. Fastball again right around 90 miles an hour. Fortunate enough to have the radar gun here at Falmouth. Smith digs in again. The 1-1 misses up and out. Count goes to 2-1. Of course, plenty of other games going on around the Cape Cod Baseball League this evening. Get you an update on those after this next pitch. Spencer Geisting from the windup, the 2-1. Good looking pitch. That'll just miss outside, says home plate umpire Ronaldo Cockrum. And the count goes to 3-1. After 8, Brewster up 2-0 on the Katuitt Kettleers. Orleans, top of the 9th, leading YD 7-6. This will miss up and out, and Geisting will start his outing with a 5-pitch walk of Taylor Smith.
Not what you want with your first batter, of course, but chance to settle back in here with the 9 batter and try to record an out, perhaps a double play before having to go back to the top of things.
Yep, so Geisting will now face the 9-hole hitter Cody Colden. Colden flew out to left his first time up. Go ahead and complete a look around the league here. Bourne keeping it going, up 5-1 on Wareham in the top of the 5th. As Geisting's first pitch in there for a called strike to Cody Colden. And to finish that out, bottom of the 2nd, still very early, no score out in Chatham as the Anglers and Harbor Hawks knotted up at 0. Geisting looks in for the sign, working out of the stretch now. Runner on first, the 0-1. Swung on and poked foul. A couple of guys we saw up and warming out in that Falmouth bullpen. You get the feeling we've likely seen the end of Alex Price today.
Perhaps, as certainly not the best relief outing. Really, it's just been Harwich at the plate, making it very difficult for these Falmouth batters, or pitchers rather.
Colden digs in, pitch on the way. This one swung on and hit hard. Good dig out, throw to second. It's going to be bobbled there by Hal Hughes, though. Preisner did a great job to get the mid on it, turned and fired to second, but it was mishandled there by Hughes. Everyone's safe. Again, we'll see how they rule that. Likely going to be a hit, but again, we'll see what the official scorer does with that. Either way, runner's going to be at first and second, and they will now roll that an error on Preisner.
And it was a pretty good scoop by Preisner as he had to make the throw over to second. And you remember Hughes as well from that second base side, traditionally a shortstop, perhaps not used to reading it from that angle as it fell out of his glove.
First pitch, fastball down here to Maui Ahuna, who has been really looking good so far in this game. One of the lone standouts here for Falmouth. 2 for 2 today, a run scored and a pair of singles. Ahuna bats from the left side. Has a 1-0 count on him now. Good situation here for Falmouth. First and second, nobody out. Here's Geisting's first pitch, or rather his second pitch. He gets a swing and a miss at the off speed. Dropped about 10 miles an hour off of that one, and right over the top of it was Ahuna.
Yeah, you said it right at the top of the order here for Falmouth. One of the only guys to get on multiple times in this game, doing exactly what he needs to in that leadoff spot.
And he's had a couple of hard hit balls as well. Here comes the 1-1. Takes a good swing at this, but he's over the top, and the count goes now to 1-2.
And that slice brought to you by, you guessed it, Supreme Pizza, located on
Maui Ahuna, one of the other guys here on a temporary contract from Hilo, Hawaii. Playing from my neck of the woods for the Kansas Jayhawks. So a Big 12 player. He was an all Big 12 honorable mention. Here, he will take strike 3. Geisting gets him to look at a pitch on the outside part of the plate. And that is strikeout number 1 of the Cape Cod season for Spencer Geisting.
Yeah, real nice pitch. Good confidence as well from Geisting to throw against a guy like that who's been having a good game. And you know, he's in the leadoff spot for a reason here for the Commodores.
Yep, and that'll...
No, but Geisting, just excellent job to wrap up that at-bat.
Absolutely. So that brings up Michael Curiali, batting from the right side. First pitch tipped foul right back to us. We are in what I affectionately like to refer to as flinch territory.
Yeah.
You did a good job there. And now that I've said that, I'll probably get caught flinching at one later on in this game. But again, right here, right on the chain link, down the first base line probably, I'd say, about 10 to 20 feet right now from home plate. A great view here at Gov Fuller Field. Geisting's 0-1, swung on and laced out to straightaway center field, chasing it back as Malgiri jumps up and makes the catch at the fence. Ben Malgiri just took at least a double and an RBI away from Michael Kiriali. Had to adjust his body, contorts, turns backwards, and gloves it. And finally, Tim Foley, the defensive breaks and the web gem plays starting to come from the Mariners as opposed to against them.
Yeah, I mean, he made the catch. He looked a bit uncomfortable the entire way out there. I mean, I guess that's why you practice karaoke's at the field, because he was just really running sideways the whole way out, trying to keep a track on it as he made his way towards the fence, trying not to crash into it. But a really nice read out in center by Malgiri.
Yep, that brings up Braden Taylor, and it's one of those awkward plays where you have so many factors. It's a line drive. As it's coming down, you got to watch out where the fence is at, where your feet is at, and also keep an eye on the baseball. But again, somehow able to bring it into the glove, and now Geisting with an opportunity to get out of the inning unharmed. Second pitch, beautiful, right into the zone for 0-2. Got him with the breaking ball there, and he is out ahead of Braden Taylor, who is 1 for 2 with an RBI single and a strikeout today. Taylor, another lefty in the lineup here for the Commodores. Runners on first and second, 2 away. Mariners lead it 8-2. Geisting's next pitch in the dirt, leaving it there, is Taylor. Of course, the big number that sticks out on the scoreboard like a sore thumb. Try saying that 5 times fast at home. It's 4, and it's in the error column for Falmouth. That is going to be the theme of the day for the Commodores. This one misses down and away. I'm sure that'll be the number that head coach Jeff Trundy wants to talk about. Plenty of work here on the defensive side to do here for the Doors. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Spencer Geisting back to work here on Braden Taylor. Comes set, looks in for the sign. Southpaw checks the runner back to second, brings home the pitch. This one's going to be hit right at the first baseman, picked up by Putz, steps on the bag for out number 3, and that will retire the side here in inning number 5. Nobody across for Falmouth. They still trail at 8-2. Mariners on top. When we come back, more baseball action here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back to Gov Fuller Field. Tyler Henry alongside my broadcast partner Tim Foley. One more score to get you an update on. Of course, the Texas Longhorns taking a 2-0 lead on a 2-run shot in inning number 2. A lot of 2s across the board there in the College World Series playoffs. Texas playing Mississippi State for a chance to go to the College World Series finals against the Vanderbilt Commodores. And a bit of controversy when it comes to that, because they were up against an NC State team, one of the most red-hot teams in the country, and they were informed earlier today that their season was just over. Due to COVID, they would consider the game a non-contest. They would advance Vanderbilt to the final, as here Cade Beloso steps in for the Mariners. But it just doesn't feel right. And again, you have to take the precautions. You have to be safe, as the first pitch to Beloso misses low, but just a really, really brutal way for the season to end for NC State.
Yeah, I mean, how about that? You start your day undefeated in Omaha if you're NC State, and then 2 a.m. that next morning.
This ball sky high in the air. We'll get you an update after this. As it gloving it as Taylor on the pop-up. Cade Beloso flies out. That'll bring up Carter Putz.
Sorry, then 2 a.m. that next morning, you find out that after losing a game, a hard-fought game that you just played against Vanderbilt, one of the best teams in the country, losing it only 3-1 against one of the best pitchers in the country, you find out at 2 a.m. later that night that you're not even going to be allowed to play the next day. I mean, I don't, we've never seen anything like that, of course. There's never been a circumstance in which something like that could happen, but just heartbreaking if you're a fan of the Wolfpack.
Yeah, the count goes here to 1-0 on Carter Putz, and there are a lot of factors that go into it. Obviously, some people are trying to compare this to the game that VCU lost against Oregon due to the pandemic, but that's a one-game format. That's much different. It's also so early in the NCAA basketball tournament that it doesn't have the same kind of impact as here. And again, you look at the timeline here for the NCAA. They sent a shorthanded NC State team to the field on Friday in a jam-packed stadium of 20,000 people, canceled the season at 2 a.m., sent a survive in advance tweet, and now they're not quarantining or testing Vanderbilt players and coaches who are around NC State. And really, at this point, just shying away from all of it as a line shot right at Ahuna will retire Carter Putz for the second out of the inning. So again, just, you know, regardless of whether the decision was the right one or not, the optics here for the NCAA, as they often are, just not in a great spot.
No, I mean, if you told me at the beginning of this season that one of the final 3 teams left in college baseball was going to have the plug pulled on them before they were officially eliminated, I mean, that really is just not a good look right now for the College World Series.
Yep, but either way, the baseball we're focusing on here in the Cape Cod Baseball League sees Zach Preisner still looking for his first hit against a different type of Commodore, the Commodores of Falmouth, who trail it 8-2 here at Gov Fuller Field. Another inning of work here for Alex Price. Kind of surprised to see him come back out this inning, but so far he has been able to set down the first 2 guys he has faced. And finally, he's able to get Carter Putz, although it was a well-struck ball just right at Ahuna at second.
Yeah, good positioning, and good on Price for being able to come out here once more, be confident, and allowing his defense to put in some work behind him. You know, mind you, it's been 4 errors from the Commodores.
The 0-2 is swung on and missed well in the dirt. Digging it out and checking it down to first is McKeelan, and that will do it for the top half of inning number 6. A quick 1-2-3 for the Mariners. They will head back into the field. We'll see another inning of work here for Spencer Geisting as we get set for more Harwich Mariners baseball coming up right after this on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back to baseball here from Gov Fuller Field. Tyler Henry, Tim Foley working through another inning of work here, and another inning coming up for Spencer Geisting, who got off to a bit of a dicey start, did have the walk to Taylor Smith, and then Cody Colvin reached on an error, but was able to set the next 3 guys down, and he is really starting to settle into a groove here, 10. Jeez.
Colin's on your right.
He is. He's
not
right
wearing a
there.
headset.
I'm looking right at him. It's hard sometimes.
But yeah, Geisting looking good so far out of the bullpen. I mean, a strong start from Manning, and then just continuing it here, continuing this trend of pitching that Harwich has gotten so far in this first week of action here on the Cape.
Yep, he'll face off against Jake Tukart, Chase Borfin, and Brennan Malone. First three guys due up here for the Commodores. He's got an 0-2 count here on Dukart. Dukart fouled one over to the bench area for Falmouth, and the only guy that got up and ran away was the guy wearing catcher's gear. Everybody else seemed to stay in place and just kind of wait for it to pass. As here's a ball swung on and hit high in the air. This one will chase the catcher back behind the dish, falling away and making the catch is Aaron McKeithen for the out.
Yeah, you might have heard him there. Ball was the call from McKeithen as he rolls back onto his back while making the catch, and that's a tough read. The wind blowing out towards center, it looks. It started to tail on him at the end. That's why he fell back, but a nice job there. Those are the ones that if you don't catch them, somehow, some way, it feels like they come back to bite you. So McKeithen, nice job to lock it down.
That'll bring up Jace Borfin, who's 0 for 2, swings the first pitch he sees and fouls it away. May have been a little bit of deja vu for our producer, Chris Cassidy, who we were informed earlier this season lost a laptop in a very similar situation. Ball that just dropped over the fence, but this one stays in the yard, and it's caught by McKeithen for the out. Borfin steps in. Next pitch he sees outside of the zone. Count goes to 1-1. Harwich trying to close this one out. You wonder who they'll go to here down the stretch to secure the win, although this is not a save situation as this ball swung on and hit out to left field. All day for Lazaro to settle under it, and he gloves it for out number 2.
No, not a safe situation, and it is that 6-run lead that Harwich has had for a lot of this game. But the thing about baseball, there's no time, there's outs. And as long as Falmouth can make use of now at this point their last 10 outs, really anything can happen in this game. You do not want to lose it as a pitcher, regardless of the lead.
Absolutely. First pitch from Geisting here will miss down and in to Brennan Malone. With that being said, though, if you can save guys like Brandon Walker and Danny Wilkinson for some closer outings, that certainly helps your cause for the win totals. Here's another pop-up on the infield. Once again, it's going to be called off, this time by Putz, who gloves it for out number 3, and a quick 1-2-3 inning will wrap up the 6th. So, to the back third we go. Harwich still leading at 8-2. You're watching right here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back to baseball here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Mariners fans, for sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game. And for the final 3 innings of today's game, I will turn things back over to the one and only Tim Foley. Tim, take it away.
Thank you, Tyler, as we have now the 7, 8, 9 batters up to bat. It'll be Aaron McKeithen, Press Kavanaugh, Jake Lazaro. Aaron McKeithen, his last time out, hit a sac fly out towards right field. And, of course, as you were listening, may have just heard him make that catch just in front of us here at Gov Fuller Field. A catch to get the second out in the inning, or the first out in that bottom of the 6th inning. We're now here in the top of the 7th. First pitch dealt to McKeithen is a ball. Price still on the mound for the Commodores, riding him as he's looked to settle in a bit. He does brush McKeithen off the plate. Count runs to 2-0.
Yeah, and so far McKeithen has had 3 productive at-bats, reached on a walk, reached on a fielder's choice that led to a run coming across to score. Scored 2 runs and then had a sac fly back in the 4th inning as well.
He's ahead 2-0, and he gets a hold of this one, sends it out towards left. Back it goes. Gone. Aaron McKeithen, have a day. The 2nd home run of the game for the Mariners. And this man has just been producing for the Mariners. This is the 3rd time he's come around to score. The 49er is hitting dingers here at Gov Fuller.
Yeah, and another absolute no-doubter out to left field, and there was no question there. McKeithen turned on that and ropes it over the left field fence. So the Mariners extend their lead 9-2, and everything seemingly going right now for the M's.
Mariners came into today's game with only 1 home run. That was hit just last night. Pardon me. Actually hit, yes, it was last night, Malgeri, and now here tonight with 2 home runs. So now home run total up to 3 as the bats start to come alive here in Falmouth. Count here 1-1 to the batter Kavanaugh. And we were wondering before the game, Tyler, a couple of things. A, how are these Notre Dame batters going to affect things? And B, how is this Mariners team going to respond to going on the road after a tough week at home to open up the season? And they've responded quite well, I would say.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it stems from being patient at the plate. We're seeing less guys take home run cuts. Granted, they've had 2 balls dropped over the fence, but we've seen less guys coming up empty on those home run cuts.
Another big ball hit by Kavanaugh. This one going out towards center field, except not enough juice on it. Gets caught by Anthony Hall. That will be the first out of the inning.
Boy, seemingly anywhere else in the park, and that thing has a chance to drop over, but hit out to basically straightaway right center. And no chance for it there. That'll bring up Jake Lazaro. But yeah, they've been a lot more patient. We've seen a lot more, I think, more intentional from the batter's perspective walks in this game. And it's led to a lot of really good plate appearances where they've gone late into counts and found their pitch to pick out later on.
And we mentioned it a bit earlier. They've been pretty good about taking the walk. 16 so far through the season. They've been rather patient, but even more so today. And now capitalizing on that patience, actually finding balls to drive into the outfield for base hits. As the count here to the new batter, Jake Lazaro, 0-1. Next pitch finds the zone, another strike, 0-2.
I do also want to highlight, though, it is curious to me that we still see Alex Price out there. I mean, again, I figured that the leash may have been a little bit shorter, more than likely as a temp guy. They're trying to see more of what he can do, but just an interesting decision to leave him out here like this.
Ball skips in the dirt in for the first ball of the at-bat, 1-2. There are a few, it looks like a single Commodore warming up in that bullpen along that first base side. Of course, my binocular is not with me today. I cannot get you the number or any preview as to who it may be. Yet, perhaps in this inning or next, we may see a new Commodore slinger as Price, the lefty, delivers the 1-2. Can't find the zone. Lazaro holding off of that one. A close one on the outside part of the plate. 2-2. Sky opened up here. Clouds have moved away. Still a little bit cloudy, but blue sky up above, the lights on. A beautiful day for baseball. As the count now here full.
Yep, and again, a classic Cape Cod night. It's very cool out here. Again, very cloudy, as you mentioned. Still feels a little bit muggy, though, with that sea air coming in.
Tough to avoid that no matter where you are on the Cape. 3-2 pitch. Misses outside. A walk to Jake Lazaro. He now stands on first with the leadoff man, Hal Hughes, coming up to bat.
And other than, if we're talking about lineup spots and not individual players, other than Cade Beloso, who, again, keep in mind, came into this game leading the Cape Cod Baseball League in batting average, everybody has reached base twice in this one, at least twice. Many guys have reached more than that.
As you mentioned, interestingly enough, Beloso, the one guy to not get on base, not join the on-base party that the Mariners are having. Hughes ahead in the count, 1-0 here. It's 1 out in the inning. Lazaro standing on first. Price sets, stares in, checks over to first.
Yep, just trying to keep Lazaro close over there. Lazaro, of course, has reached on 2 walks in this one.
The 75th pitch of the game for Price misses for a ball. He's thrown 40 strikes, 35 balls. Not the greatest ratio if you are Price on the mound. It's behind 2-0. Next pitch missing inside.
Yeah, and location really did seem to be the problem both for Price and for Mason Pelio before him. It seems like both guys are really just struggling to pound the zone here this evening.
It's now a 3-0 count here to Hal Hughes. He's gotten on once already with a single, and he'll get on again with a 4-pitch walk. So 2 on now with 1 out. Ben Malgeri, he'll come up to bat, singled over to right field in his last at-bat. And a conversation on the mound now being had. Jeff Trundy heading out. We have a new pitcher coming into the game for the Commodores. We'll take a break. We will recap the day for the pitcher in Price. We'll be back in just a minute. Back with you now at Gov Fuller Field. New pitcher on the mound for the Commodores. It's Levi Wells, the righty, standing about 6'2", out of Texas Tech. Hails from Lubbock, Texas. He's facing off against Ben Malgeri. He's coming into the game with runners on first and second with 1 out. Pitch into Malgeri, gets away from the catcher. Runners advance to second and third. Lazaro holds up at third, thought about coming home. And now 2 in scoring position with just 1 out on the first pitch from the new batter, from the new pitcher.
Yeah, certainly not an ideal way to start. But again, Wells will have to settle in here. May have caught Smith just a little bit off guard there.
It's a 1-0 count here to Malgeri. Goes in, delivers, fouls that one off. Count now goes to 1-1.
Yep, Malgeri trying to battle it off here. So that'll give us a chance to take a quick look at our scoreboard around the league. YD gets a walk-off victory of the Orleans Firebirds. A sac fly ties it, and then Peyton Graham scores on a throwing error. So a lot of craziness going on over at Red Wilson Field. YD sneaks away with a much-needed win.
1-1 pitch, misses outside. It's 2-1, and at top of the East right now, tight. Of course, YD with the win. They move up to 7 points. Chatham, as they find themselves ahead of Hyannis right now at the bottom of the 4th. They were tied with YD coming into today. They lead at 2-0 over the Harbor Hawks. Braves leading at 6-1 in the top of the 6th against the Gatemen, as the pitch finds the way into the strike zone for a 2-2 count. And then right now, Brewster Whitecaps looking to stay ahead of the Katuitt Kettleers. They lead it 2-0 over in Brewster. 2-2 pitch, hit on the ground over towards short, picked up by the third baseman. Throw on to first is in time, but he was pulled off the bag. Safe is Malgeri. Another run comes home to score for the Mariners. And there's only one out with, again, 2 on here for Harwich.
Yep, and they're going to go ahead and rule that a hit. So credit the RBI to Ben Malgeri. But I'm telling you, I mean, we talked about this early on. The Mariners didn't have a ton of hits early in this game, but they were capitalizing. I said that's going to be the confidence booster. It seems to be. They've been laying it on thick ever since. And now you got Brock Wilkin at the plate. 1 away, 2 on here for the M's, and a 10-2 lead.
Wilkin, he's come around to score once in this game. He did hit into a double play in his last at bat, and the first pitch he takes is a called strike.
Of course, the at bat prior dropped one over the scoreboard here at Cub Fuller Field out and left. I'm sure he'd be more than happy to do that again.
Pitch missing outside, 1-1. Mariners have scored in 5 of the 7 innings played thus far, held scoreless in the 5th and 6th. The 1-1 pitch down in the dirt, held on to by Smith behind the plate. Count moves now to 2-1.
And we're seeing the same thing out of Wells that we saw out of Price and Pelio. They give up a run and they just are not as content to try to pound that strike zone. Pitching around some of these guys. The problem is with how Harwich is hitting today, there's not a guy you can pitch around to get to.
Yeah, just through and through this lineup, they have been tough to avoid, as the 3-1 count now. Pitch got away from Smith behind the plate, rolled out in front of him. Runners will not advance for the Mariners.
I mean, statistically, the only guy that you could try to get to is the 0-for-4 Cade Beloso, but that's not a dice I'd be willing to roll if I'm an opposing pitcher at this point, knowing how Beloso has hit previously.
No, certainly not, as Beloso coming into today leading the league in batting average. A strike, called strike to Wilkin, pushes it to a full count, 3-2.
Yeah, Wilkin was about to toss that bat back to the dugout, was called back by Ronaldo Cockrum, and now he'll have to face a payoff pitch.
The 3-2 just misses the zone. A walk will load the bases. Now Cade Beloso stepping up, looking for his first action of the day, and in a big moment here for the Tiger. Only 1 out, with Hal Hughes standing on third, Ben Malgeri standing on second, and Brock Wilkin standing on first.
Yep, and again, Beloso, I mean, he's due for a big hit. You mentioned coming in here, leading the Cape Cod Baseball League, batting over .550 on the season. So far, 0-for-4 today. He takes strike 1. See if we can't reverse engineer that old broadcaster's jinx.
Yeah, whenever it's intentional, it always seems to work against you, though.
True.
The 0-1 pitch hit squarely to the third baseman. Throw on to second in time. On to first, also in time. The double play, and the inning is over. Mariners load the bases at the end of the inning, but they can't get one across. They do, however, score 2 in the inning. It was Aaron McKeithen opening it up with a leadoff home run, and then Jake Lazaro ended up coming all the way around to score as well for the Mariners. So they push it out now to a 10-2 lead. We head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Mariners up 10-2. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. bringing it back now here at Gov Fuller Field. Still on the mound for the Mariners, Spencer Geisting, as he's been pitching well through the 2 innings of relief he's had to offer up so far for the Mariners. This ball hit squarely out to left. Catch made by the charging Jake Lazaro, and on the first pitch of the inning, there's 1 out.
Well, he's nothing if not efficient, Tim. Certainly working at a quick pace here, but again, Geisting's had his stuff going, and you see guys behind you make plays like that. It gives you more confidence in your defense. You're going to be more willing to put something in the zone. Geisting not messing around, trying to finish off the bottom third of the order here and get Falmouth, whittle them down to their final 6 outs.
Only 1 strikeout for Geisting, but as he knows, there are 8 other guys out there with him. He's got to rely on them. He has. It's paid off well for him thus far. This brings up the catcher Taylor Smith. He's come around to score back in the 3rd. He was one of the 2 runs scored by the Commodores so far. He walked as well in his last at-bat in the 5th. Looking to get on base for the 3rd time today. First pitch dealt in a ball, missing, 1-0.
Yep, Smith the only guy in this lineup aside from Ahuna to reach base twice.
As it's been that kind of day for the Commodores. Not a whole lot going at the plate, even regardless of the woes they've had in the infield. Ball missing high and away. First 3 pitches to Smith have all missed. He's ahead in the count, 3-0.
Even Geisting will have to battle back here. Likely Smith going to be taking, again, a patient hitter, being hit by a pitch and reaching on a walk. More than likely going to leave it on the shoulder here.
And he does take ball 4. So a 4-pitch walk to Smith. He moves now to first base. And a 1-out walk brings up Cody Colden. Reached on a fielder's choice in his last at-bat in the 5th. He's looking to drive Smith around the bases here.
Yeah, talking a little bit more about Spencer Geisting, one of those guys that's really looking to come back and have an improved performance here in the CCBL, a 5.47 ERA for him in 2021 at Charlotte.
Ball hits squarely, eats up the glove of Wilkin at 3rd. Preisner has to come over to grab it, and runners standing safely on 2nd and 1st.
And they'll safely roll that a hit, no doubt about it. They don't call it the hot corner for nothing there, as Wilkin did everything that he could, but as you said, I think the ball almost caught the glove more than the glove almost caught the ball. And that'll put runners at 1st and 2nd with 1 away.
And now back at the top of the order here, one of the more successful guys for the Commodores this evening, Maui Ahuna. 2 hits in his first at-bats, struck out in the 5th. He has come across the score once already. Ball is popped up on the first pitch he sees out to center. Tagging up at 2nd is going to be Smith. He actually holds, as that's the signal. He does stay at 2nd, and so 2 outs now with runners on 1st and 2nd.
Yeah, always going to grab the bag and just kind of see, but I think the scouting report is certainly good enough on Malgiri that they wouldn't have risked sending Taylor Smith. Certainly not in a game where you're down by 8. And that'll bring us back to Michael Kiriali.
Got to preserve base runners when you get them. They've been few and far between this game for the Commodores. As you said, Michael Kiriali up to bat. Had a single back in the 3rd inning. Flew out to center in his last at-bat. Looking for some 2-out offense here as we get towards the later parts of this one. A 10-2 lead for the Mariners. A lot of that offense coming in the first 4 innings. Plenty of errors for the Commodores assisting that. 4 errors on the game for Falmouth have largely aided this Mariners offense, which has been rather dormant to open up the season.
And keep in mind, all of those errors came in the first 4 innings. It's not like they've had any, and if you want to call it garbage time here these last couple. These have been consistent issues for Falmouth early in this game.
Geisting behind in the count. It sits at 2-0. Takes a peek back towards 2nd. Now delivers. Pitch missing, ended up just down low. 3-0 now the count. Geisting going to have to go after him here. pitch missing. Another 4-pitch walk from Geisting. Second one delivered this inning. This time it's Curiali, the recipient, and that will load the bases. Pitching coach Steve Grunberg heading out to have a conversation with his southpaw. Here with 2 outs. Not a whole lot needed. Of course, just a ground ball anywhere would likely do it, but don't want to let it get away from you. There are a couple of Mariners standing on the bump over in the dugout right near there. Over near the dugout on that third base side.
Well, and I think importantly, too, talk about the third guy in that huddle right now. It's Aaron McKeithen, the teammate of Spencer Geisting at Charlotte. So those guys, again, battery mates throughout the entire regular season and now working together here in the CCBL. A couple of Charlotte guys on this roster. So he knows how to calm his pitcher down. I'm sure he's had a couple of notes for him there. And, of course, getting some good instruction from Coach Gruenberg as well, as Braden Taylor will be the man up here with the bases loaded.
Dalton Smith, the pitcher.
Shortstop number 20.
Pardon me.
Braden Taylor.
Brandon Walker warming up in the bullpen. As Geisting, you mentioned it, UNC Charlotte product. Had the second most appearances on his team this year for UNC just as a freshman. So he had plenty of usage. He's been pitching well so far in this one, of course, not wanting to let it get away. A couple walks, a hit given up as well in this inning. And the batter, Braden Taylor, ahead in the count 1-0. Second pitch in for Taylor, now 2-0.
Yeah, Geisting, again, I'm not sure what exactly the issue is, but really just struggling to get it over the plate right now. And yeah, the bases are loaded, but you're also working with 8 runs of support right now for a lead. So really nothing to be too worried about, just trying to get one more away.
2-0 pitch, misses low and away, 3-0, and nowhere to put him. Braden Taylor, a ball here would bring a run in.
Yeah, this has to be a green light situation here for Braden Taylor. I know that Geisting has struggled here, but you've got to be willing to swing the bat. I get that it's 3-0, but you got the bases loaded and you're down by 8. This has got to be go time here for the Commodores.
The delivery. Misses outside, bat on the shoulder. It will bring in a run.
Yep, so a bit of a disastrous start here. Again, Harwich just needs one more, and now Coach E will trot out to the mound. This will likely be the end of the line here for Spencer Geisting.
It was Taylor Smith who came home to score. So now you have Cody Colden standing on third, Michael Curiali standing on second, and Braden Taylor over on first. And we do have a pitcher coming out to the mound for the Mariners. It's Brandon Walker. Walker out of Florida State University. Saw him last, I believe it was, in that opening day game against Orleans, where he came in to close out the game for the Mariners. He will take over for Geisting, of course, responsible for each of the runners on the bags now. We'll take a break. We'll be back in just a few moments. Bases are loaded for the Commodores at a turning point here in the bottom of the 7th. Don't go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss it. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network.
third baseman, number 5, Jake Descartes.
So it's Brandon Walker on the mound for the Mariners. This is his second outing of the season. Pitched an inning and two-thirds, back against Orleans. Gave up a run and a hit in that outing. Ball hit squarely out to left. That's going to get down fair. Runner's going to come home from third, and Colden second as well. Curiali scores, and now you have runners standing on second and third with a 2-out, 2 RBI double from Jake Descartes.
Yep, that's a big piece of hitting there, and that's kind of the one issue that we saw with Walker, the exit velocity. You're talking about a guy that throws 96, 97 plus, and tell you what, you get a hold of one of those, it's going to go. Now, that one obviously not hit all the way to the fence, a little bit more of a lazy looper out to left field, but it'll still get the job done, and, well, the lead is up to down to just 5 here for the M's.
Just needing a third out to get out of the inning. 3 runs having crossed the plate in this frame for the Commodores. First pitch in for a strike against the batter, Jace Borfin. Not the best day at the plate for Borfin. Struck out as well as grounded out to short and flew out to left in his 3 at-bats, 0 for 3. He's now got a 1-1 count.
Yep, and again, Walker, just to get a closer look at the scout, he's a flamethrower. High velocity fastball, works in with a really good curveball, and has a changeup to mix in there as well.
A 1-1 pitch misses down low. 2-1 now the count. The 2-1 pitch hit squarely out to right field. That one's going back. It's got some power. Gone! A 3-run blast from Jace Borfin. Makes it a 6-run 7th inning for the Commodores. And now we've got a ball game here, Tyler. Commodores down only by 2.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely not what the Mariners were expecting at this part of the game. We talked about some of the fortunate runs they were able to scratch across earlier. Those are going to count for a little bit more here as the Commodores put 3 more on the board, and that is the second time this season that Brandon Walker has tried to challenge somebody with the high heat and gotten burned, having it taken over the fence for a home run.
6 of the 8 batters to come to the plate here for the Commodores have crossed the plate to score. It has been an explosion of offense from Falmouth, as now they have Brennan Malone up to bat here. He's 0 for 3 on the afternoon. He faces now a 1-1 count. He's flown out a couple of times, grounded over to third in his first at-bat in the second. And Walker hoping for some kind of easy out here. Of course, nobody on at this point. So much damage Malone can do lest he pull one over the fence.
Yeah, but you're also talking about a situation where the team walked into the inning with an 8-run lead, and now if you're Falmouth, you've got the tying run in the on-deck circle. So the damage already done here, just trying to mitigate what may be left of it here for the Mariners.
2-1 pitch misses down low, and I mentioned it a bit earlier. This is a Falmouth team that has done an excellent job hitting so far this season. Came into today with the 3rd best batting average in the league, hitting or slugging .390, and so no surprise that they've found their game here in the 7th. And another hit gets down just past the glove of Hal Hughes. Brendan Malone now on with a 2-out single in the bottom of the 7th.
Yep, and now the tying run at the plate, represented in Anthony Hall. So things starting to come unglued here in a hurry for Harwich. This is not the kind of game you want to let slip out of your fingertips. We talked about how much momentum they may get coming out of this when they were up by 10 or when they were up by 8, but I'd say the opposite could be true in about the same extreme. You lose a game like this, it's going to sting for the next couple of days.
Commodores have batted around now. Anthony Hall led off the inning, flying out to left field. And that was on the first pitch he saw from the pitcher Geisting. And who would have thought from there that he'd end up all the way back at the plate the very same inning after a quick out.
And how big are those two insurance runs that the M's tacked on to the top half of the seventh? Don't forget, it was just an 8-2 ball game before that. We'd be looking at a tie game now, but fortunately, Harwich able to do the work. Now they have to get out of this.
Walker's first pitch finds the zone for a strike, 0-1. Walker did inherit an infield full of runners when he came on, as that pitch up high, checking his swing, was Hall. So a couple more runs having been charged to Geisting. We will give you his final stat line on the other side of this inning once we get there. We do have it at the ready, as that pitch swing and a miss for a strike. 1-2 the count. Geisting pitched 2 2/3, gave up 1 hit, 4 earned runs, walked 4, struck out just 1. Wasn't a bad outing from him, but just this inning in particular really got away from him.
Yeah, and again, that does happen, but you also got to look at it like this. The bases were loaded, 1 run came across. He only gave up 1 hit today, but he ends up giving up the 4 runs. You can't put that many guys on base.
A ball hit out towards left. That gets down on a hop. Runners now on first and second. Malone making his way over to second. Hall standing on first. And you have Taylor Smith, who came around to score earlier in this inning after getting on with a walk. He steps in.
Yep, and similar to what Harwich was able to take advantage of early on in this game, they did the heavy lifting here for Falmouth. They were able to walk a number of guys, and now Coach Englert is going to come out and have a word here with Brandon Walker. I don't know if that's going to be the end of his outing, but it may be. We'll see what ends up happening. Right now, nobody jogging out from the bullpen yet, and now the signal comes in from Coach E, and that, it appears, will do it for Brandon Walker.
So that will do it for Walker. As mentioned by Tyler, we will take a break. We'll introduce the new pitcher and recap the day for Walker, of course, once the runners have come across. We'll be back in just a minute. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners on the Mariners YouTube network. Back with you now at Gov Fuller Field here in Falmouth. A game on our hands once again. Mariners came into the inning leading by 8, but since then a 6th spot has been put on the boards by the Commodores, and they're not done quite yet. They have runners on first and second with 2 outs. At the plate now, Taylor Smith, who got on with a walk last time out, and a new slinger on the mound for the M's. It's Carson Seymour. Made his last outing in the one other win the Mariners had this season against Hyannis. His first pitch in missing, rather, a 1-0 count.
Yep, down and away that time here to Taylor Smith, who reached on a walk earlier in this inning, one of many that was able to reach on a walk, and almost all of them have come across to score. The only exceptions are on second and third base.
Pitch again missing, 2-0 as runners on second and first. Malone standing on second, Hall standing on first. Holiday in his brief outing, or pardon me, Walker in his brief outing, giving up a couple of hits as a pitch in for a called strike. Thought about throwing down to first was McKeithen, count now sitting at 2-1.
Yep, and so now an opportunity again for Seymour to come in and get him out of it. He did really well in his debut, came in and threw 2 innings, 2 strikeouts, no other numbers to note. No runs, no hits, no walks. Looking for one more out here to end a disastrous 7th for the M's.
Yeah, this is the 11th batter to come up for Falmouth. Pitch skips in the dirt, held on to by McKeithen. Taking a few steps off of second was Malone. It made his way back before McKeithen could opt to check it down to either bag. 3-1 the count here. A walk would load the bases. Ball fouled off, count now full. It's been 4 straight base hits for Falmouth. A double from Jake Ducart, then a home run from Jace Borfin. That cleared the bases, a 3-run blast. And then a single from Malone and another single from Hall. Seymour looking to end this inning. Payoff pitch coming up. 2 outs, runners on first and second. Seymour taking his time, staring in, getting the signs, nods his head, steps, and delivers. Runners go, pitch missing outside, and it's a walk. The 3-2 count ends up resulting in a walk to load the bases. And for the Commodores, that is 7 straight who have gotten on base.
And it happened in very different ways, too. You're talking about the early part of the inning with Spencer Geisting. 4 of the 5 guys that reached base did so via a walk. Then, of course, you had Brendan Walker come in, and it was just a bunch of hits. And now you've got Seymour trying his best right now to get Harwich out of the inning. That's the go-ahead run on first base right now, Tim.
Certainly is in Taylor Smith. Now you have Cody Colden at the plate. He'll take a first pitch strike, clocking in at 94 miles per hour.
And, of course, the other thing, I wouldn't say panic-inducing certainly for the Mariners, but you're talking about a guy in Brandon Walker that was tabbed as a potential closer for this team. And his first 2 outings, he's just really gotten roughed up.
Not the best day for Walker. Big cut there from Colden. Just what Seymour was hoping for. He's now ahead in the count, 0-2, looking to end this inning with this next pitch.
Yeah, veteran setup there by Seymour. He knows right now that Colden is looking for that pitch. He knows he's eager to swing at it. He's going to toy around with the zone here, but I guarantee you he's not going to give him a good pitch to look at on an 0-2.
Seymour, the Kansas State product, delivers. Clocked on the ground. Hughes over at second, scoops it up, throw on to first, and they get out of the inning, but damage and then some. Done by the Commodores. 6 runs plated by Falmouth. They're bringing it back. It's only a 2-run game now. Certainly an interesting one. We'll see what the Mariners can do at the plate when we come back in the top of the 8th inning. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners on the Mariners YouTube network.
Carter Putz.
Carter Putz at the plate as the Mariners look to settle back into it. You still have the lead if you're Harwich. It's 10-8 here in the top of the 8th inning. No need to panic necessarily, but perhaps for the better might want to continue what you've been doing at the plate all game long, as this one has turned into quite the scoring fair here in Falmouth.
Yeah, but now you're talking about a Harwich team that spent a lot of time out there in the field, and you know, those bats may have cooled down a little bit. It'd be great to see them get it going again, but right now just trying to find a way to get on base here for Carter Putz.
Putz, last time he led off an inning as he's facing a 1-1 count, singled right up the middle, ended up being thrown out over at third. But been a pretty successful day for him. 3 for 4 in his debut as a Mariner. Really could not ask for much more. As that one in for a called strike, 1-2. Contact made by Putz. Dribbler over to second, picked up by Ahuna. Throw on to first in time to record the out. One down here in the top of the 8th.
And I think the most interesting thing that we're going to have to find out, and the question on my mind right now, who is coming out to pitch the 8th and potentially the 9th here for the M's? Do they stick with a veteran in Carson Seymour, who looked really good in his debut? Do they go to an arm like Wilkinson out of the pen, another guy who's been tabbed as a potential closer here for Harwich? I mean, they have options, but I don't think they were intending on having to make decisions like that when they entered that half of the inning up by 8.
No, they were cruising up until that point, but quite the disastrous inning, and now it has you having to focus on your bullpen and try and figure out what exactly the game plan is going to be. An 0-1 count dealt here to the batter in Preisner. And now count sitting at 1-1 to Preisner. Preisner, he's come around to score once so far today. He did strike out in his last at bat. The pitch finding its way in for a strike. 1-2 now the count.
You know, it's really a shame for the Commodore faithful. I'd say about a third of them probably cleared out after that 6th inning before everything went all haywire here for the Falmouth squad on offense anyway.
I mean, hey, that's baseball. You've got to anticipate this kind of stuff.
Yep, absolutely. Unlike in Miami, though, those fans will be readmitted, I believe, into the ballpark if they so choose to come back here to Gov Fuller Field.
Of course, no, security not too tight here.
Of course not. They let riffraff like us in.
Yeah, no kidding. As the 2-2 pitch misses, count runs full 3-2.
Interesting also to see on the other side of things Levi Wells, who was kind of thrown in at a point when this game didn't really matter. He is left out there here to pitch these innings. So clearly a guy that this Commodore team and coaching staff trust in a moment like this, trying to hold a 2-run deficit.
The pitch, ball pulled out towards left. That's going to get down fair. Going towards second now is Preisner. He will stand up. And a one-out double from Preisner.
Yep, the old ground rule double because there's no fence in left field past the foul pole. So the second that thing passes the foul pole, it is a ground rule double, and it'll be a 2-bagger here for Zach Preisner, who picks up his first hit of the CCBL season. The ground rules always come into play here in these funky Cape Cod parks. Most of them to regulation, but a few of them have some things that lead to some chaos.
No, and of course, a lot of these fields, high school fields, utilized by the locals for a majority of the year. So certainly plenty of quirks across the Cape, and they all contribute to the experience that is the Cape Cod Baseball League. A 1-0 count to the batter in McKeithen. Conversation being had on the mound briefly between the catcher Smith and his pitcher Wells. Talk about McKeithen for a moment, a guy who's had some real success so far this game. I mean, last time up had that home run, but even prior had 3 quality at-bats. Ended up coming around to score twice, had a sacrifice fly as well through the first 4 innings of play. He's a big reason as to why the Mariners are ahead in this one. He takes the 1-0 pitch, in for a called strike, 1-1.
Yep, and a beautiful opportunity he's capitalizing on, too. Keep in mind, he's doing all of this while Pat Winkle is off trying to impress some scouts at the MLB Combine. So certainly a good opportunity for him, but here an opportunity for McKeithen to try to earn his keep and potentially be an every other or everyday starter here on the Cape.
A 1-1. A take there from McKeithen, misses 2-1, and it can be tricky being a first-year Cape Leaguer, not having Winkle anymore. Of course, I'm sure it helped them through those early parts of the season to have a guy like Winkle who's been here before, who's had success here before, and now he's got to fly the coop. 2-1 count. Runs now to 3-1. McKeithen, a nice patient at bat here. A couple nice takes. And a good spot here to get on. And
you just get the feeling if Harwich could get a couple of runs across here in this inning, even just 1 run, there'd be a bit of relief, at least for the pitchers and the defense after that big 6-run inning.
Pitch in, McKeithen cannot catch up to it at 91 miles per hour. Count now full.
This feels like a big at bat. Again, 1 away here. Runner in scoring position, at the very least trying to find your way on, maybe even move him around to third if you can. Of course, we also know McKeithen certainly has the capability of parking one over the scoreboard as he did back in the 7th.
Wells sets and delivers. Missing outside, another pitch taken by McKeithen pays off. He'll make his way down to first base. That is the 4th time today he has made it on base.
Yep, and look at it again. The only at bat that didn't see him reach base, he had a sac fly to drive in a run that could be consequential here in a 2-run ball game. So all 5 ABs today for Aaron McKeithen have been very impressive, and now Press Kavanaugh comes up with an opportunity to potentially pick up his first hit of the day.
Another guy who's provided some value here in this game towards the back of the lineup. Came across the score back in the 3rd inning after getting on off of an error. He did steal a base as well. Look to drive a few around here. You have Preisner standing on second, McKeithen standing on first, and he'll take the first pitch in for a called strike. Sky darkening now, of course. Lights providing most of the lighting here at Gov Fuller Field. on what has been a muggy but nice Saturday evening. As the ball gets away from the catcher Smith, runners will take second and third. Chance for the Mariners here to take advantage of some miscues by the Commodores as they did earlier in this game.
Yep, and again, that eliminates your double play threat there. No chance of ending the inning unless it's a hard hit line drive right at somebody near a bag. And more importantly, an opportunity for Kavanaugh to drive in a run or two here.
Only one out. You have Jake Lazaro standing on deck. Walked in his last at bat. He's walked twice today, in fact. Come across the score once. We'll see him perhaps. As Kavanaugh still stepping in from the lefty batter's box. Wells still getting set once more on the mound after a brief conversation with his catcher Smith. The 1-1. Cracked by Kavanaugh, fouled off into the bleachers to the left side here at Gov Fuller.
Yep, and right now, I mean, again, if you're Press Kavanaugh, the thought has to be just get the ball to the outfield somewhere. You hit it deep enough, it's going to drive in a run on a tag. You get it down in a gap somewhere, obviously it can score two. I mean, plenty of options, but just trying to keep this thing off the ground if they can. You can see the corner infielders in right now trying to cut the run down at home.
Wells takes a step back, has to reset, adjusts his brim, wipes his sweat, tries to make sure this next pitch is a good one. He's got a 1-2 count here on Kavanaugh. Runners on second and third, only one out. The pitch. Cracked by Kavanaugh, chopped it foul.
Right at the Commodores bullpen catcher who does turn around in time. It's a risky job out there right now, and really no one but the pitcher warming up to tell him if a foul ball's coming.
Yeah, sometimes you'll see spotters out there with those bullpen catchers and pitchers should the bullpen be in a precarious spot. Nobody out there at the moment. Again, the 1-2. Wells delivers. This one skied up, heading out towards right center field. Holding on the base is Preisner. Ball is caught in center. Preisner is sent home. McKeithen's caught out between second and third, but Preisner comes home to score. McKeithen gets back to second safely. A successful sac fly from Press Kavanaugh to push this lead back to 3 runs for the Mariners.
And I can't even begin to emphasize how big of a run that is for the M's. Not only because it stops a run of 6 unanswered for the Commodores, but again, it's going to give you a little bit more confidence. It's going to give you one more run of padding for your pitching. And now the Mariners can focus up on hopefully trying to drive some in here, but more importantly, getting those crucial last 6 outs on the other side of the break.
And they do still have a runner in scoring position in Aaron McKeithen, looking to come home for the 4th time today. Jake Lazaro 0 for 2 with 2 walks. Run today as well. Pitch in the zone, 89 miles per hour. 0-1 count. Can't get a look at who's warming up in that Falmouth bullpen. Next pitch also in for a called strike, just painting the low outside corner of the plate. Lazaro stepping in as a lefty. He's behind in the count, 0-2. 0-2 pitch. Cannot find the zone, misses, 1-2.
Yep, and again, I mean, despite the urgency here late in the game, you see good patience here out of a guy like Lazaro. He's already walked twice today. I mean, again, very patient at the dish, and that's not going to change just because he's got a runner in scoring position here, trying to extend what is currently a 3-run lead.
Lazaro, a known patient batter. He takes strike 3, called though, right on the lower portion of the zone. Down he goes. The Mariners do plate one more, however. They get one back. They now lead it by 3. Moving into the bottom of the 8th inning, it'll be Maui Ahuna, Michael Curiali, and Braden Taylor coming up for the Commodores. We'll be back with that in just a minute. You are listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Bottom of the 8th inning at Gov Fuller Field. Top of the order for the Commodores due up Maui Ahuna, Michael Curiali, and Braden Taylor. Carson Seymour still on the mound for the Mariners after coming in to record the last out of the 7th inning. Did allow a walk. And he's got to deal with Ahuna. Ahuna, 2 hits in this game so far, 2 for 4, although he's come up with nothing in each of his last 2 at-bats. And Ahuna ahead in the count, 1-0.
Yeah, not a huge crowd on hand here, but a lively one. A little rally chant going on right now down the first base line.
Yeah, heard the Maui chants coming out from the Commodore faithful as he's ahead in the count now, 2-0. Ahuna out of Hilo, Hawaii, takes a big cut, misses, 2-1. Two 2-1 pitch, just missing on the inside. 3-1 now the count.
Yeah, didn't miss by much. Seymour, again, an electric performance in his Cape League debut here in 2021. Trying to replicate it here with another good inning, and you wonder if they'll leave him out there to pitch the 9th. He's certainly capable if he can get out of this inning.
Ball fouled straight back over our heads. Count will be full. There is a Mariner warming up in the bullpen. We'll try and get an eye on who that is. We'll send our scouts over.
Scout liaison to the broadcast.
Full count. Ahuna at the plate. Seymour on the mound. He delivers. Misses up high. Leadoff batter is on with a walk for the Commodores.
Yep, and that continues to be the thing hounding the Harwich Mariners right now. Walks have been a massive problem. Not so much through the first couple of games this season, but so far in this one, that has been one of the biggest points of contention for the M's.
It's been reported that Aaron Holiday warming up in the bullpen for the Mariners. So a leadoff walk from Ahuna. That's the 3rd time he's gotten on today. He goes for second. Throw down by McKeithen. Not in time. Runner is safe. And Ahuna now standing on second with no outs.
Yeah, but again, more importantly, Harwich now back out to a 3-run lead as opposed to the 2 runs that Falmouth had cut it down to. And that could ultimately prove to be the difference right now as the M's look for some outs here in the here in the home half of the 8th.
Seymour looking in. He'll take a peek back at second. Delivers the 1-0. Missing again outside. Has been pitching around these Commodore batters to open up this 8th inning.
Yeah, certainly not something he struggled with in college. In 2021 as a Kansas State Wildcat, 57 strikeouts to only 32 walks.
The pitch does find the strike zone this time. Count now 2-1.
And again, his velocity on that fastball has certainly increased since his time with the Mariners back in 2019. One of the few guys to don the uniform a second time.
Seymour delivers the 2-1. Fouled off towards the right side of things. Foul. And Seymour, part of that 2019 team, of course, that went to the Cape League Championship. Had a big hand in helping the Mariners out in the first round against Chatham. Pitched a no-hitter, a combined no-hitter alongside fellow K-State baseball player Connor McCullough. Excuse me. 2-2 count here. Seymour has to step off for a moment, thinks about it. Curiali took a walk his last time up, a 2-2 count facing him here. Seymour now determines a pitch. Looks back towards second, and the delivery. Swung on and missed. Big cut from Curiali, couldn't find it. 87. to get him swinging. Down goes Curiali, 1 out now with a runner on second in the 8th.
Curiali very clearly sitting on something that was not a fastball there as he kind of lunged out and just whipped his arms at it, trying to make contact and stay alive. But strikeout number 1 of the outing here for Carson Seymour. And we'll see if he can continue that, get a few more outs here, and get the M's out of the 8th.
Braden Taylor, another guy who got on with a walk in his last at-bat. He was the last guy that Geisting faced. First pitch brushes Taylor off the plate, nearly catching him at the letters. Has to take a step back, 1-0.
Yep, and of course, Carson Seymour back in 2019. It was the first college pitching experience he had really had. He played a season at Dartmouth, but transferred to Kansas State, was ineligible to pitch that year.
Ball chopped on the ground, picked up by Hughes after 2 hops, throw on to first to record the out. 2 down, the runner does advance to third in Smith. So it'll take a base hit to drive him in.
Yeah, that'll bring up Ducart. But yeah, it's been an interesting path because, again, Seymour had to sit his freshman season, then transferred him and was ineligible due to transfer rules. His first real taste of collegiate baseball came on the Cape in 2019, and since then he has built himself into a product that, again, you know, looking at the draft upcoming here, one of the names that'll be thrown out here in the first couple of days.
And you'll have to excuse me, it was Maui Ahuna now standing on third, not Taylor Smith. Up at bat now, Jake Ducart. And unsure about whether or not he wanted to swing there, looked uncomfortable on the follow-through, 0-1.
Yeah, of course, Ducart set the table, had the double back in the 7th inning before Borfin, who stands on deck, cranked the 3-run home run over the right field fence.
A 1 pitch from Seymour, misses up high. Count evens out at 1-1. And the Mariners really were making light work of these Falmouth Commodore batters to open up the game, but then that 7th inning came along and the complexity of this game has changed entirely as the 1-1 pitch in for a called strike, 1-2.
Yep, and now Seymour's got him right where he wants him. This is, again, where Seymour does some of his best work, talking about a guy with a fastball and a slider.
One and two. 2 outs, runner on third, creeping towards 9 o'clock here in Falmouth. The pitch just misses above the zone. 2-2.
Yeah, a little late movement there on that one. Not a bad idea, but again, Ducart just so patient up there. Now waits, gets himself into a 2-2 spot, and we'll see if Carson goes right at him here or if he decides to waste a pitch. He's got one more if he wants to try to get him to chase.
Waiting on deck, should Ducart be able to get on base, Jace Borfin, who of course hit that home run. 2-2 pitch just missing in that same spot, just high with some late movement on it. 3-2 now.
Yeah, but the right call there, and full count worked here by Ducart. Again, the only time he reached base was back in that big 7th inning. He had the double. Aside from that, 0 for 3 today.
Big spot here for Seymour. Payoff pitch. This one clobbered out to center. Is it going to get down? It does. Lazaro can't charge in to glove it from left. Coming home to score is going to be Ahuna, and standing safely on first is Ducart. Lazaro tried to replicate a gem he had earlier in the game, but just couldn't get the glove on it this time around.
Yep, no, and again, if he had made a second one of those in the same day, you're talking about SportsCenter Top 10 material easily. But on the other side of things here, Jace Borfin comes up, and he now represents the tying run. Last time up, he hit a 3-run bomb. He does that again, and the Commodores are level with the Mariners here.
First pitch to Borfin, misses up high, a bit inside, 1-0.
Also, of course, we hope we don't need it, but keep in mind, with the new rules here in the 2021 Cape Cod Baseball League season, no extra innings. This game will end after 9, regardless of what numbers are up on the board for who.
A big cut there from Borfin as He now takes his first strike, 1-1.
I mentioned something similar back in the 7th inning, but again, how big is that insurance run that Harwich got in the 8th? If that doesn't come across the score, you're talking about the tying run on first base.
Most certainly. I mean, these late runs absolutely clutch for the Mariners, as these Commodores will not go quietly into the night. The third pitch dealt to Borfin. Knocks him back off the plate, 2-1.
Of course, as we do approach, as you mentioned, the 9 o'clock hour, getting into about the 3-hour mark of this one. A couple other games going final across the Cape. Brewster beats Katuitt 2-0.
Yes, as Brewster looking to improve their record, of course. That one runs in on Borfin, and taking second freely is going to be Ducart.
And are they saying he got out of the way? Because it sounded like that made contact with something.
I thought I heard it went off of something or other. I'm sure, of course, Borfin would have been pleading his case had it gone off of his helmet, but the free base awarded to Ducart as the ball got past McKeithen, took advantage of the moment. Now you have a chance here for the Commodores to get a run across the plate more easily with a base hit here. 3-1 the count. Seymour trying to avoid his second walk of the inning. He cannot. Pitch missing down low. Now you have the tying run aboard and the go-ahead run in Brendan Malone stepping up to the plate.
Yeah, and again, things getting more and more risky the more guys you allow to get on base. So Harwich going to have to get, again, similar to what we saw an inning ago, just needing one more out, and they can get it in any bag right now.
A conversation going to be had here. Head coach Steve Englert coming out to the mound, have a conversation. We'll see. This could be the day for Seymour as the entire infield in to have a talk here with the big righty out of K-State.
Yeah, haven't seen him signal out to the bullpen yet, but you never really know when Coach E goes out there. And for the time being, it looks like it will be Seymour's game.
He will stay in the game. We'll take a moment also to go down some of the other scores here. Top of the 8th, Bourne ahead of the Gateman of Wareham, 6-5. And Chatham up against Brewster right now, or pardon me, Hyannis, 4-0. That game in the top of the 8th. Two outs, runners on first and second, tying run at first, go-ahead run at home. Ball hit on the ground, foul. Chopping down that third base line, picked up by Wilkin. And Seymour ahead in the count. That doesn't feel like that's been happening all too much in this inning for Seymour.
Yeah, not recently. As, again, falling behind here, 0-1, will have to battle his way back.
This is the 6th Commodore to come up to bat in the inning. Leadoff man, Maui Ahuna. He came across all the way to score. 1-1 pitch now. Malone, a single hit in this game, 1 for 4 for his efforts. That was back in the 7th inning. He had that single, got as far as third. Did not come around to score. Takes a called strike for strike number 2. Count now sits at 1-2.
That's a big one for Seymour. Again, I'm sure he'd love to get with a strikeout. Doesn't have to be. Any way they can get out of this inning would be great for the Mariners. As you see, Falmouth is now evened up the hit count at 10 apiece.
Seymour once again one hit away, or one strike away, I should say, from getting out of the inning. The 1-2. Just misses. Harwich faithful here making the trek, and Falmouth thought they had it. Count now evens up at 2-2.
And I actually think that Ronaldo Cochran's been doing a great job calling balls and strikes behind the dish, but that was close. I'm not 100% sure about that one. Seymour will have to focus up here with a 2-2 count.
The pitch holds off of it, and the count now full once again. Seymour, he's already walked 2 in the inning, looking to avoid his 4th walk of this relief outing.
And 3-2 here, 2 away in the inning. Everyone's going to be running on this pitch. Anything hit in the outfield will have a chance to score at least 1.
Payoff pitch. In for a strike, dropped, but ultimately Mariners able to get out of the jam. Runners were on base for the Commodores nonetheless. Only one comes across for Falmouth. We move now to the top of the 9th inning. Mariners going to look to add a few insurance runs. We'll see what they can do once we return here to Gov Fuller Field. We'll be back in just a minute. It's Mariners 11, Commodores 9 here on the Mariners YouTube network. Final inning of play here from Gov Fuller Field in Falmouth. It's been quite the doozy if you've been with us since the beginning. I mean, the Mariners looked like they were flat out running away with this one, putting up 8 runs in the first 4 innings. The Commodores only responding with 2. But then you had a big inning in the 7th for the Commodores where they plated 6. Mariners did put up 2 before then, and it was then a 10-8 game. A few insurance runs coming across for the Mariners. They lead it now 11-9 as the Commodores are really making this one an interesting one. And it's Cade Beloso, pardon me, Hal Hughes up to bat now for the Mariners, leading it off. He's behind in the count, 0-2.
Yep, takes a pitch inside here. That'll make it a 1-2 count. Again, Hughes came in and replaced Corey Acton. It's been so far so good for Hal Hughes. An RBI single back in the 3rd, reached on a walk back in the 7th.
Gets a piece of 1 there, fouls it off, stays alive. Count now 1-2, still 1-2.
Yep, and again, Hughes right now looking to try to set the table here for Harwich. The last couple of innings, the insurance runs have been what has kept the Mariners ahead. If they had just stopped again when they got to that big lead.
And a big cut from Hughes sets him down swinging. So 1 down in the top of the 9th. This will bring up Ben Malgiri.
Yep, good start here for Wesley Swetch. Able to get a strikeout of the first man he sees. And you get the feeling they brought in a little bit of a bigger gun here than Levi Wells to try to keep this at a 2-run deficit and give themselves a chance. It'll be the 7, 8, and 9 hitters due up on the other side for Falmouth as a swing and a miss puts Ben Malgiri behind here 0-1.
Sweat working in a quick tempo, getting A couple of swings from these Mariner batters. Another swing here fouls one off. And behind in the count now is Malgiri, 0-2. Wesley Sweat, junior lefty out of South Carolina. Made 10 appearances for the Gamecocks. ERA sitting at about 7.5. Another foul ball coming off the bat of Malgiri. The pitch, and another foul ball. Malgiri battling here, third straight foul to stay alive at the plate.
Yep, and again, just trying to keep things alive here. Hit that back towards the concession stands at Gov Fuller Field, which are a little further away here than they typically are at a normal park. But again, trying to battle here is Malgiri, and he'll take a ball upstairs.
Count now moves to 1-2. Malgiri, been a pretty good day for him. He's got 3 hits. He's also gotten on with a walk, 3 for 4. And he'll hit one squarely to short, picked up by Taylor. Throw on to first. Did he get him? He did. Ball picked out by the first baseman, Malone. 2 down now in the top of the 9th.
Yeah, that's a good dig there by Malone. He's been taken off the bag a number of times. His infielder is not exactly doing him any favors so far tonight, but that time able to work his way off, keep his foot on the bag, and collect the out here for this Falmouth team, and they needed that one.
Brock Wilkin now coming up to bat. Wilkin, his last time out, walked to get on base for the Mariners. Hits one into left. A 2-out single for Wilkin. And this will bring up Cade Beloso.
Yep, one more chance for Cade Beloso. Again, the only guy who has not found a way to get it going today for the M's. Tough day at the plate. 0 for 5. A strikeout and a double play grounded in 2.
Yeah, not the greatest day for him. Of course, it's not about how you've been hitting all day. It's about how you hit in this present at-bat. And you've got every reason to believe that Beloso can have some success here at the plate. 2 outs, a man on first in Wilkin. As this one's fouled straight back over our heads. He's behind 0-1.
You talked about the forest that eats all the baseballs at Orleans, but one right behind us here at Gov Fuller Field as well. You wonder how many Cape Cod League baseballs are sitting back out there.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't think you're going to get the swarm of kids that you would see at White House chasing after that one. Ball fouled straight back to the backstop, 0-2.
Yeah, but now Beloso going to have to shorten up on the bat a little bit, get a little bit more protective. Again, trying to work some insurance runs across here for the M's. Still leading it by 2, but that lead's got to feel less and less comfortable after what you've seen out of the Falmouth offense the last couple of innings.
And again, even coming into this game, this was a Falmouth team who Harwich had to be aware they could hit. It's no surprise that they had the breakout inning that they did. Ball gets away from Smith behind the plate. Runner's going to go for second. So now standing safely on second is Wilkin after he got on with that single. A chance for him to be driven around now with a base hit.
Yep, and there you go. Runner in scoring position. 2 away, 1-2 count here on Beloso. Still looking for his first hit of the day. Carter Putz in the on-deck circle. Started his Cape League season 3 for 3.
Yeah, and again, we mentioned there's been a couple guys in this game who have been key to the success that the Mariners have had as the 1-2 pitch misses outside, 2-2. Certainly you can credit these guys from Notre Dame, Putz and Preisner, for the life they've been able to inject into this Mariners offense. I mean, they scored 7 runs coming into today. They have 11 right now on the board. It's really just been night and day what this team has looked like coming into today. And Beloso cannot check his swing, could not hold up. Down he goes swinging, 2 strikeouts in the inning for Falmouth. We move now to the bottom of the 9th. We'll see if Falmouth is able to complete the comeback. They're down by 2. It's 11-9 Harwich here at Gov Fuller Field. We'll make the turn for home in just a moment. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
batting for the Commodores, the center fielder, number 35.
Aaron Holiday, the new pitcher on the mound for the
Hall.
Mariners. For the Cardiac Commodores, it'll be Anthony Hall, Taylor Smith, and Cody Colden due up to bat. The 7, 8, 9 batters for Falmouth. First pitch fouled off. Holiday will get ahead in the count, 0-1. So with the new rule change in effect, no extra innings, the book is closed on the pitcher Sweat for Falmouth. Pitched a complete inning, only gave up 1 hit, struck out 2. And same could be said for Seymour at this point as Holiday's in the game. Holiday getting that pitch by the batter Hall. Now ahead 0-2. Seymour pitched an inning and a third, gave up 1 hit, 1 run, walked 3, struck out 2. 0-2 pitch fouled straight up, back over our heads. Just missing a young fan's glove. Not able to make the catch. 0-2 the count still to the batter Hall.
Yeah, Holiday's had just this cool confidence that he's pitched with all season long. He has not been afraid of anybody in this league, and hoping to get the Mariners their second win of the season here.
Swing and a miss gets him to go down swinging. A nice changeup down in the dirt from Hall, and the dropped strike throw onto first. Of course, out is recorded there, but still a strikeout recorded by Holiday. He had 2 in his last outing for the Mariners to help record that win against the Harbor Hawks. Came in a save situation, pitched a complete inning, gave up no hits, no runs, no walks, struck out 2 already with 1 strikeout here in the bottom of the 9th, and in a huge spot with Falmouth hot these past 2 innings. First pitch misses, 1-0.
Yep, trying to translate that success again here. And again, the Mariners just 2 outs away. You got the bottom third of the order due up. Just trying to avoid another at-bat here from Mahuna.
Ball misses. Count now 2-0 from Holiday. Holiday out of Old Dominion. Delivers the 2-0 pitch right in the zone at 92 miles an hour. Puts the count now to 2-1.
Yep, hasn't really struggled so far this season falling behind guys, not on a regular basis anyway. And when he has battled back well.
And another ball down low. 3-1 now the count. He falls behind. Has not walked anybody for the Mariners yet this season, but with the chance to do just that here. Behind 3-1 on Smith. The pitch, big cut from Smith, can't find any of it. Talk about contributing today for the Commodores. Smith, he was one of the 2 runs to come across back in the 3rd inning to help make this a game for Falmouth. Of course, those early runs being a big part of why this game is close now. Getting Falmouth going early, but can't catch up to that one at 94 miles an hour. 2nd straight strikeout from Aaron Holiday. He is dealing with confidence here in the 9th.
Yep, the emergence of Aaron Holiday this season has been so fun to watch, and it's been great for all of us to see as well, as he's just 1 out away. The 9-hole hitter Cody Colden from potentially sending Harwich home with their 2nd victory of the season.
And you think about the context in which he's coming in. Of course, a clean inning for Holiday, nice and easy to work with, but Falmouth rather confident at the plate as they have been putting a lot across these past 2 innings. This Harwich pitching staff letting a lot get on, but Holiday cool as a cucumber and with a chance behind the count. 1-0 right now, but already 2 strikeouts. And the 1-0 pitch finds its way in for a called strike. This would be, should the Mariners hold on here, their 2nd win of the season. Trying to keep pace in the East coming into today. One of the, I believe, the bottom team today, only with 2 points, coming in with a 1-3-0 record. after losing to Bourne last night. 2-1 count here. Colden can't keep up with it, and this fastball for Holiday has just been dominant. 93 miles per hour over the plate. See if you can hit it.
Yeah, I mean, again, Holiday not afraid to challenge anybody in this league, and that's a universal rule for him.
Holiday, a chance to send everybody home, the 2-2. Just missing the outside part of the plate. We're not done yet. Count now runs full. A really nice pitch from Holiday. Just could not catch it. Chance now, payoff pitch. Got him to swing. 1, 2, 3, down they go swinging. A beautiful performance from Aaron Holiday to strike out the side in a tough spot in the ninth. And the Mariners get their second win of the season, 11-9 over the Falmouth Commodores.
Yep, absolutely. A great win, a great team win. And again, late in a game like this, good to see the offense able to rally and get those insurance runs. Give the Harwich Mariners exactly what they needed to get out of here with a dub.
And so that does it for the game. We'll be back in just a moment to break it all down for you. Once again, the final score, Harwich 11, Falmouth 9. We'll be back in just a minute. You're watching the Harwich Mariners, rather listening on the Mariners YouTube network.
You want to lead with?
As back now with you here to wrap things up at Gov Fuller Field. Now, Tyler, the narrative of this game changed as it went along. The Mariners got off to their hottest offensive start of the season, putting up 8 runs to surpass their season total just in the first 4 innings, leading by 6 over Falmouth after 4 innings of play. But then came the Commodores, a 6th spot in the 7th after Harwich had put up then 10 runs. And this became a ball game very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's the perseverance that you love to see out of this team, because it would have been very easy for them to come back out and look lackluster offensively. But they battled, they got those insurance runs, and ultimately that made the difference both in the game and on the scoreboard.
And then we talk now for a moment about the pitching of Aaron Holiday. Just an outstanding outing from him. 3 strikeouts, strikes out the side. That's the 2nd save in as many opportunities for the Mariners this season. He has been stellar for the team thus far.
Yeah, no, he certainly has. And honestly, not even one of the guys that was tabbed as, one of the top guys out of the back end of that bullpen, but he's kind of become that through these first couple of weeks. And in a tough, high-pressure situations, he's proven that he's a guy you can rely on, expecting really great things out of him this season.
And so with that, I think we'll wrap it up. A great win to stave off the comeback by the Mariners. They win it. A final score of 11-9, staving off the comeback from the Falmouth Commodores. The 2nd win of the season. Harwich now improves to 2-3-0 on the season, 4 points to their name. Falmouth, they drop to 2-2-1, and they stay at 5 points out in the West. Well, for my broadcast partner this evening, Tyler Henry, for our great crew around us, Chris Cassidy, Colin Casey, of course, helping to run social media, the scoreboard, producing, doing all the magic behind the scenes to keep us looking good, ship-shape throughout the broadcast. Shout out to them. This has been Tim Foley. Thank you so much for tuning into our coverage here of game number 5 of the Harwich Mariners 2021 season. Once again, final score here from Falmouth. Harwich Mariners 11, Falmouth Commodores 9. We'll be back tomorrow at home against the Chatham Anglers at a 5:30 start time, I believe. A bit of an earlier start time this time around. So be sure to tune in or catch the game at White House Field. That'll do it for us here from Gov Fuller. Thanks so much. We'll catch you next time.